No, my fan on, so just let me
Episode
know.
127 of the Goodfellas podcast. I'm here with Blunt, Boxing First Vlog. What's up, bro?
Oh man, you know me, man. Let me tell you a little something real quick. Put a gem on you. You know how I do with this mouthpiece. I'm in Oakland back in the day, you dig? You know what I'm saying? I get a call from one of the player partners. He say, man, I need you to pull up on me. I said, say no more. I've been a corner. He say, man, I'll be back in a few hours. Hold this work, hold it down, whoopie whoop. So he come back through. He say, man, you made that work disappear, bro. I said, man, you know me, I'm magical. I stay on point like a unicorn, you dig? What's happening with you? What's groovy, Playboy? Just a little gem, you know what I mean? A little story, a little note about your boy and how I get down. You feel me?
I mean, I don't.
Mouthpiece
I
slicker
heard.
than
I,
hair
I
grease.
understood about 60% of what you said, but that's cool. And today
Bro,
it's just been the
I'm
today's
trying to
just
get you
been
to
a
catch
day
up,
of
Playboy.
today's just been a day of speculation. Been a day of people talking about unifications undisputed. So because of that, I had to drag out the straps today because it's strap season. It's strap season.
Listen at him, listen at him. Listen at
It's
him.
strap
Listen, I
season,
ain't
and
mad
I,
at you. That's what's
I
up.
wanna stay happy because I wanna be on my Errol Spence Crawford stuff. I mean, I can release it. YSM told me about 4 weeks ago, maybe even over that, that the Crawford Spence fight is signed, sealed, delivered. And personally, I didn't want to believe it, and I still don't want to believe it until I see the dudes in the ring. But today we got
Shane,
positive news.
Shane, I told you yesterday, you colder than a hooker's heart, Playboy. Man, ease up, man. Feel good for once in your life. You know what I mean? You broke out
Bro,
the belts. So I think you feeling positive, but you still spit a little bit of negativity out there, young buck. Come
bro,
on
let's
now,
keep it
family.
real. Let's keep it real, blunt. Let's keep it real. We are in an era where a fight ain't done until both dudes are in the ring. And sometimes you got fights like the FA Jagba fight where two dudes can be in the ring and still the fight don't happen. So
I mean, yeah, the boy wasn't paid, so that was his gripe. I get
I,
it. He gave him up to
he ain't
fight
wrong for
time,
that. He ain't wrong for
huh?
that. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying that until I see the bell ring and they both dudes get to work, that's when I believe the fight's on. You know, I ain't
So you
believing it
still
until
50-50? I mean, you broke out the belts, but you still
I'm
50-50.
70-30. I'm 70-30.
Okay. That's what's up. I can understand that. You know, we
But
get
look,
we get
look
fights
at
for
Savannah
we.
Marshall
Hey,
Clarissa Jones. That
yeah.
fight was signed to
Look at Bay. Look at Farmer. You know what I mean? A lot of people was looking forward to Farmer getting back, and Mickey Bay a solid opponent. So when you get fights like that pulled out from under get the rug pulled out from under you like that, you get to feeling some kind of way. So I can understand your point.
exactly. So because of that, I am not getting too ahead of myself. But what's your first thoughts on Crawford and Spence? What's your first thoughts when you first heard it was done? What was your first thinking?
Man, I had this. Check me out on IG. Boxing the number one. Use the numeral for the word first on Instagram and use vlog. Obviously, my whole name. You know what it is. But look, I had one in the chamber waiting. Nice little pick. You know what I mean? Little clash of these two dudes in the middle of the ring. Somebody did it and I just stole it from them. So I ain't gonna lie, but I was holding on to it, waiting for confirmation before I slid it out. But it's a nice little jump, bro. I'm anticipating close fight, 1-2 round type of fight. Right now I can't call winner. I gotta really do some, you know what I mean, some college homework. This ain't no high school homework. You gotta do some college homework on this one. So you know what I mean. I ain't ready to call it, but I do just off top. I feel like a 2 round fight. I feel like somebody gonna pull it out by 2 rounds.
I,
I
I,
don't. I
I
think.
I have to ask you because you're a person who survived. I have to use the word survived multiple eras within boxing. And does this seem like a throwback fight for you? You know, a
Yes. Yes.
Leonard Hagler or
It
um
seemed like a Jones Hopkins. We just did the first one, the very first one. It almost panned out in the ring, you know what I'm saying? But you could tell Jones was still a little bit ahead of the game than Bernard at that time. You see what I'm saying? But those type of matchups, before the fight, you was feeling that kind of way. Now, will the fight pan out? I'm hoping it do, but just anticipation wise, hell yeah, I think it's historical as far as you matching it up, like you said, throwing out names like Leonard Hearns, Hagler Leonard, those type of fights. I think it's going to be on that realm, on that landscape historically. You on mute? You on mute?
Do you think it's the best fight in terms of? I know we know it's not the biggest fight, but you think
It's the
it's
best
the
fight
best?
of the year. It's the best fight
You
of the
think it's
year.
the best fight of the last?
It's the best
Since,
fight of this year, easy.
no, but I'm going beyond that. Is this the best fight of this era in any weight class?
That's hard to say, bro. Nah, it's hard to say. I mean,
You got two
you
pound
gotta
for
look.
pound dudes going
You
head to
you
head.
talking about one fight, or are you talking about like just a core? Like I don't. One fight. Let me think, bro. I gotta hit the Rolodex on that one, man. You know what I'm saying. I can't go
There's
Google that
two
one. I gotta
pound
hit.
for
I
pound
gotta hit.
dudes going head to head. That's the thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find out before I say yes. I'm just trying to find out. Gotta go through the mental Rolodex. You know what I mean? Let me think. Let me think.
I
I
mean, you got
mean,
Canelo Golovkin one.
what you know
Was
was a big fight to me? You got. I mean, I don't know if you consider this era though. I mean, what's this era? You talking about 2000s?
2010 upwards.
Oh, for easy. Yes, easy. Maybe Wilder what's the name too? You know, because you had Glove Gate and all of that nonsense for the build up to
But
the second fight.
I don't feel look. I don't. Whilst I agree with you, I still don't think people saw Wilder and Fury as the best fighters in the sport. There are people who
Well,
genuinely feel
no.
that.
But I'm going off of just I can't say just based on, pound for pound like that. I'm, height, what I mean, build up, anticipation, revenge factor, a lot of these things that make a fight, people really eager for it. I think that was there with Wilder Fury too, but this one is just a bit more historical. You know what I mean? Just why I think it edges it. As far as anticipation
You
wise,
were
but
gonna say
that's
another
the only
fight.
fight I could really think of, bro. And that
You
was
were
from
gonna say
what, like,
another fight in the last 20 years. What would you say?
oh man, I was thinking it was probably a little longer than 20, but I was actually thinking Trinidad Hopkins. Because everybody thought Trinidad was gonna smoke Bernard.
I
That
don't know.
anticipation.
That wasn't two undefeated fighters though.
I mean, well, I mean, you want to go undefeated. It's hard to match that with guys that's been on that realm so long. I look at Manny Mayweather. Manny wasn't undefeated, but people was treating it as if he was undefeated at the time.
But both dudes with the Floyd and Pacquiao, we could argue that neither fighter was in their prime. With this one, I don't think you can make that argument. I think whilst you can make the argument that maybe because of the car crash, everyone ain't the same, and obviously because of the inactivity, Bud ain't the same. But at the
And
same
he
time, I
older.
still think they're in the
And he
prime.
older by what, like 4 years? Hey, Bud older by like 4 years, 5 years?
And I think it's a little bit less, maybe 3 years.
Okay. I mean, that's 3 years, 3 years added training, 3 years of amateur, 3 years of travel, a lot of wear and tear on the body can happen in 3 years. So
Exactly.
that,
So
if anything, I think that balances them out physically. I don't think one has more of an edge than the other just based on physically at this point in their careers. I can't edge one over the other.
let me get through that comments. Big Dog says salute. Shout out to you, bro. Is this a done deal? No mention from Spence. No mention from Bud. That's why I feel like we're closer to get it done. If there was a lot of talking, then I would say smoke
I'm gonna
and
tell
mirrors.
you this:
But
with
because
this
there's
shit
no
being so
talking,
big, bro, with this shit being so big, them two dudes might really need to be concentrating on camp. Because you see, Bud, he been putting out a lot of training shit while we were still talking about how close is it, blah blah blah. You see Bud busy in the gym. You see what I'm saying? So I salute to him for staying focused and not, doing a bunch of interviews and a lot of hypothetical talk. He kind of showed like, yo, I'm ready if it's that time to really, get the pen in hand and ink something out. He's showing he's getting physically set for this possible matchup towards the end of the year. So I think it's real. You know what I mean? You don't usually get the whole landscape chammering and everybody wrong. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a
And
few people.
I don't think any fighter will overlook the other one either. I think both fighters will come in there knowing what the other person is going to bring, and
But
they're gonna bring their A game.
that goes back to you saying where there's not a lot of talk. Maybe it's more focused and the build. They're letting the build up be more natural, just based on anticipation, based on favorites, and you know how that go. Everybody on one side of the street when it comes to these two. It's rare dudes that's down the middle. I think I could consider us guys that's kind of down the middle. We haven't come in on one side or the other saying such and such is wrong or such and such is wrong, you know, blah blah blah. I think we kept it real, you know what I mean, neutral as far as
Who do you think
waiting
wins?
to see.
Who do you think
Huh?
wins? Who do you think wins?
Damn, bros. See, again, man, I ain't even bust open the notebooks and stuff. Yeah, Shane, man, you know what I mean? I ain't even okay, you was talking money. You was talking sales. What you think? You know what I mean? Have you heard anything about money? Have the sales changed in your mindset overnight since hearing this news?
When you mean sales, what do you mean?
Sales, pay-per-view sales, buy sales, whatever you want.
I think at the very maximum it does 700. At the very minimum it does 500.
Well, yeah, we went over those numbers, you know, about a week back or whatever, and I think they're about still the same from them and from your estimation. I think it could do about 750 myself. Yeah, I mean, on the high end, low end, 575, 550. You know what I mean? But I think
I
the
think
gate,
if it
oh, let
does
me finish.
550, go on.
The gate gonna kill it. Cause you get people that might not go to the fight, but they gonna be in the area. So it's gonna be a
Not
lot of
necessarily though. Not necessarily, because apparently the fight's in Vegas. Neither of
that's what
these
I'm
dudes
saying.
have sold out Vegas before.
But bro, the anticipation just bring people to Vegas and they like, oh shit, it's going down. Like when people see that's people going and his room's getting booked up. Oh shit, let me get my room booked. People like Jeff. As soon as he called me, he was like, yo, I'm on one of them sites like, you know, booking.com or whatever to do his homework and his 1-2 checking rooms, this, that, and the third. So I think it's that serious. You get a dude like Jeff, he don't over anticipate no fight like that. You feel me? So I think it's going
But
to do.
let me ask you a question then. If the suspected date is November 19th, do you think that gives them enough time to promote it and sell out an arena in Vegas?
When you got a machine like PBC and you got two well-known
Bro,
fighters,
that's 8 weeks promotion.
that's 2 months. So how long you take the fight to sell the fight? 2 months. You don't want to give it to nobody too early. You don't want to give it to nobody 3 months out, 4 months out. You know, some injury happened, can't be explained. People say, well, still time. Can he recover? You know, all of this begging and, you know, this back and forth with the media and all of that. Nah, 2 months,
I
like I
think they're
said, 2
cutting it
months.
fine. I think they're
Yeah,
cutting it fine.
you cutting it close. You could be cutting it close, but they're
And
getting
that's
ahead
if it gets
of.
announced. That's if
Let
it
me
go on.
finish. They're getting ahead of a lot of the natural uh um holiday traffic because the week after that is when you really start the holiday traffic. So a lot of people would probably be like, "Yo, it's a good time to get the fight ahead of that. We could get our own draw. People end
When's
up probably
Thanksgiving?
staying out of town."
When's Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving is the following week. It's like 26, 27, something like that this year.
I've never. I don't.
I'm
But
telling you, that might be smart, bro. It's the fourth Thursday of every November. So
then when
they
the tickets
going,
go on sale,
dig me. They going out the week before that. So they're trying to get people that's not gonna be like, oh, I ain't traveling. It's gonna be too much, you know, traffic. That's one of the busiest travel days of the year, or just that space. You know what I mean? That weekend space or whatever. That's the biggest travel time of the year. So
when do tickets go on sale?
I don't
Because
know, bro. We waiting for Jeff for that. He was doing some homework when I talked to him when I was
to
on my
me,
lunch.
I'm thinking if the fight is 8 weeks away, you got to put the tickets out on sale at least within the next week or so.
Then I think we right there. I think we right there. Sound like they right on schedule. Then next thing you know, they're gonna start having media things and somebody overhead, some trainer talking, some manager saying something. Next thing you know, we might start getting word from the fighters. So the build up is right there. I think it's right on time. You don't want to flood everybody, and then you don't want to kill the steam of Triple G and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So the timing is just right. Everybody's still gonna be anticipating Triple G in a day and a half or whatever. So I think that's still there. I don't think they stepping on no toes. You know what I mean? You put it out. Check it out. Check it out. You put it out, then you fall back. Let these weekend fights develop.
Do you think, for you, someone who's invested in Boots Ennis and who has openly said you believe Boots is the best at 147, and because of the
hold on, let me correct you, youngster. I gotta keep. It seems like I gotta take you to school a lot, and I got to stop the whole class and shut the class down and point you
like
out.
cutting me off a lot. I realize. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm fucking with you. Check this out. Not best at 147, best on the planet. There's not a boxer in the game that is better than this dude, bro.
The reason why I said the best at 147 was because of the point that I was making. So you believe he's the best at 147? You believe he's the best at 147. Okay. The reason I'm saying the best at the planet, it kind of doesn't really help my point that I'm making. You believe he's the best at 147, and then also the fact that a lot of us have been waiting for this fight for years. Is this announcement a little bit anticlimactic for you?
Nah, because either you seeing Boots, because look, when I was talking to somebody on IG and I was like, look, man, Boots damn near Hall of Famer right now. You know what I'm saying? I was being a little bit frivolous with the wordplay, just a little bit. But then somebody got back at me about something, you know what I mean? He was trying to be a little bit sarcastic, but I had to check in real quick. Watch your tone. You know what I'm talking about? So check this out. He say, he ain't no Hall of Famer. You can't get to the Hall of Fame on skill alone. I'm like, damn, bro. I think that's one of the criteria, ain't it? I do believe that's one of the criteria. Hold up. No. How good were you at the skills that you brought to the table? And at this point, this dude is damn near on some better be that shit. Knockout ratio like 98.8. Undefeated. 30 fights in the game. Come on, bro.
That wasn't the question. When I mean anticlimactic, I meant anticlimactic, the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford announcement.
No, because look, it make this, you ain't let me finish after I was going to tell you about that. It supports me even saying that, because you can be a Hall of Famer based on being ducked, motherfucker. I think that should be something that they look back at and check these records and check these business plans and check who really didn't take phone calls. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you being ducked, man, you 30 fights in the game, bro, and you ain't got to look. From old ass Thurman, Ugas about up the hill and over the hill right now. He calling you out. Sound like a payday, one last payday to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. Sound like my man been ducked for at least 6 fights, easy. By 24 fights, somebody of Boots.
Hold on.
Let me cook.
You going a long way around. You going a long way around, bro. You going a long way around.
Shane be trying to jump out the car, and he still got his seatbelt on.
Bro, you going a long way around, bro. Land this plane,
I'm telling you, bro. Let me cook, bro. This is a talk show. Am I right? So do I get to talk?
Bro, you're cooking it like it's like a I don't even know, a rump steak or something, bro. This is steak and eggs, bro. Whip it up quick.
Baby. You got to slow bake this with Boots and explain to the people why Boots could be eligible for certain accolades that he isn't already gotten the opportunity
That
yet.
Wasn't my question.
Season. So no, to a certain extent, to answer your question, no, I don't feel bad because he'll be ducked by one of these dudes. So I'll feel even better being able to clown, being able to talk about European tours and being double platinum artists. I'll be able to talk about, man, Them dudes is ducking like it's dodgeball. You feel me? I'm just saying, bro.
I'm gonna speak for myself then. For me, and I was the biggest fan of Crawford versus Spence, and I'm still the biggest fan of Crawford versus Spence.
I
But
am
for
too.
me, I'm not excited about this fight as I thought I would be. You know what I feel like, bro? Let me give you an example of how I really feel like, bro. I feel like I've been trying to kick it with this chick for so long. And when she finally arrives, I don't even have the mood. I'm not even in the mood anymore. That's how I feel right now. I just
Like,
feel
yeah.
so like I've been waiting for so long. And when it's finally here, it's just not what I thought it would be.
I don't know. I don't think you'll feel that way fight night though. I think that'll change.
Hell
Cause
no. Hell
if
no. I
G5
won't feel
look,
like that fight night. I won't feel
yeah,
like that fight night.
cause G5 talking about coming out this way. I'm like, boy, you about 4-5 hours away. I'm gonna hit the freeway. I just went and bought some brand new tires today. I'm like, oh yeah, I hit the freeway in my own shit and make it out there. I ain't even gotta get a hotel. You feel me? You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm trying to I'm trying to just be in the atmosphere, worst come to worst though. You feel me? That's
Bro,
gonna be live. That's gonna be
I
live.
would fly out there for that fight, but I'd fly out there for that fight, no cap.
Yeah, bro, that shit gonna be live, bro. I mean, that's
The only
historical,
issue
bro.
is this vaccine crap, bro.
You gotta be vaccinated to get on the plane?
To fly to the United States, yeah, bro.
Dudes, oh, I ain't took that shit, bro. I don't
Me
need that. I ain't
neither.
sick, motherfucker. What I need that shit for if I ain't sick?
Me neither. Me
Hey,
neither.
you can use your religious exemption.
What religious exemption is that?
Man, that you Muslim. They don't know that you not. Get your paperwork from one of them imams. Like, man, they don't take this $25 and give me one of them little pamphlets. I'm just saying, no disrespect to they joint, but I'm just trying to, I'm trying to get to this fight, Playboy. Look
Facts.
out for your player partner. You got
Facts.
mouthpiece, man. That's when you come up with the mouthpiece, you dig?
Facts. Will Stock says Bud wins in my mind. I think Bud wins as well, but I can see a close fight. He says late stoppage or decision. I don't see anyone stopping anyone. I think it's gonna end in a decision. Boys, I'm at Joyce versus Parker next week. I'm so hyped. It's crazy. Wow, that's dope. That's dope. My
Bro,
first ever fight. Dope. Dope. I could have gone to that fight as well, but truth is, I just can't be bothered. But I could have gone to that fight as well.
I mean, what's on the line? Is it a elimination? Is it a mandatory?
Final eliminator for Usyk strap.
So how is they talking about Usyk Wilder and he got a final eliminator / mandatory
He's
on
got
deck
2 mandatories right now. You got remember Hergovich is a mandatory,
for the
and
IBF?
Joyce versus Parker is the WBO mandatory, and Hunter versus, from what I know, Hunter versus Fury is a WBA eliminator, and then the winner has to fight the boy.
Man, I don't know how Wilder gonna slip in there unless he just
Bro,
offering the biggest bag.
I don't believe that, bro. I don't believe that. I
But they
don't
said
believe that.
Wilder, but they did say Wilder Helenius is like an eliminator too for the
But
WBC. So,
yeah,
but
but
that's not
Usyk doesn't
that's
have the
not for Usyk.
WBC.
Yeah, that's not. There's a for Fury belt. So and
I,
that's interesting.
I,
They brought his name up in that.
I don't believe it because it doesn't make sense.
No,
Usyk,
but no, I'm gonna tell you what makes sense. If if Usyk is still in paper chase mode, getting them checks from AJ, the biggest fight would be Deontay Wilder for him. Those other guys are boxing matches that are be great for us as the hardcores, and maybe a few casuals might even enjoy them joint. Basically,
but
you.
the whole point of him not fighting Fury was because he was injured. So how can he now fight Wilder if he was too injured to fight Fury?
I mean, but you talking about probably fighting Fury no later than February. March. I mean, like a February, March sort of fight. If you talking about Wilder, you talking about August, especially if he win, in October, you talking about maybe a July, August type of fight.
But then if that's
So
the case, then why didn't he just fight Fury straight away?
because again he was injured. So
But
after,
then, so what you're saying is he's gonna fight Fury in February and then fight Wilder after.
no, I'm saying initially, if he wasn't injured, and there you got to think like, okay, my guy injured, so we got to devise another business plan. We got some mandatories, but if we could pay the mandatories off by seeking the biggest fight out, which money wise would seem to be Deontay Wilder, since now Fury and AJ are tied up.
But
You know
they
what I'm
only
saying?
tied up until December. That's my point. After December, Fury's free to fight Usyk.
But Fury's not going to turn around and fight 6 months later
Why not? He asked
because he
AJ to
hasn't
do
done
it.
it before.
He's asking AJ to do it.
Yeah, but that's because he's fresher than AJ. Smart businessman, smart boxer, take advantage of the beaten dude, getting why he ain't got enough traditional rest for us usually fight once a year type fighters, heavyweight guys, big name guys. They not putting in 2-3 fights a year. So he forcing the bag upon AJ. Like, yo, here go a bag. And what is AJ? He a bag fighter.
I'm not convinced about this Wilder Usyk stuff that's going on. I think Blunt's frozen. Willie G, good afternoon to you, bro. Shout out to you. Willie G says, I told you you're November fellas. Yeah, I didn't. Someone told me that a while ago. I just didn't believe it. And I still don't believe it until I see it, man. I don't see it. I don't believe it until I see it. Spence in 8. I don't believe that neither. You know, I don't think neither one has the ability to stop the other. That's one thing I'll say for sure. I don't believe neither one has the ability to stop the other. But I thought PBC is already real close to signing Wilder Ruiz. I thought the same thing, bro. I thought the same thing. And another thing is Usyk going over to the other side of the street to fight? That's another thing. Like, I don't see that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I'm just not convinced. That's all I'm saying. I'm not convinced that Wilder and Usyk will make that fight happen. It just doesn't make logistical sense. Because why is Wilder fight? It just doesn't make sense to me. You know, it's not saying I wouldn't want to see that fight. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Again, Wilder does have to fight Hellenius first, but first comes first. And I think the first item on the agenda for Usyk should be undisputed. Everything else can wait. But yeah, I think most people are really excited about the Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, and I know a lot of people are picking Spence. I mean, it's a 50-50 fight. I think it's the Blunt's back in the building. I think it's the closest thing we've got to like 50-50 in years. You know, I can make an argument for both dudes to win. I really don't have a player in the fight. You know, I don't mind who wins. I just want to see a good fight. But the truth is, I also want to see how the odds are. You know, I think if I was a
It's
bookie,
even. It's already been out, Shane. They've been out for like a month. It's
what
about
Crawford
even.
and Spence?
Yeah, it's around $100, like 108 for Spence, minus 108, and it's like a minus 115 for Crawford.
So Crawford is a
You
slight
with me?
underdog.
Yeah, no, Spence is a slight underdog, but they both favored as far as the money line because they both you got to pay. You know, you
Yeah.
paying 100 to only win 108.
What do you think? Your
You know, I mean, you
conspiracy
paying
theory, you think there's a
108,
chance of a draw?
huh?
Your conspiracy
I don't
theory, do
think
you
so.
think there's a chance of a draw?
I mean, in a way, yeah, but I think for me, a chance of a draw would really come down to like training and what I'm really getting from training. Who's like, you know what I'm saying, on point as far as timing to make weight. You know, I don't think Spence or Bud have really had those sort of issues where like, oh, Bud needs another, you know what I'm saying, hour to make a pound and a half go away type of thing. I don't think we've really can have any memory of that from either. So that I can
No,
remember.
no.
So I think for me, it's just gonna be, any hiccups in training. People get injured, so I'm just kind of waiting for that. Who looking sharp? You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen either dude in months. And then the little training videos Bub been putting up, it's really just been like workout shit, like push-ups and calisthenic type shit. He ain't really
Lonzo
doing.
Turner says no chance of a draw. Why do you say that? Why do you say no chance of a draw? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, and this is just me thinking money. I'm thinking money, and I'm thinking Al Heyman. I don't know if Crawford signed a multi-fight deal, but if the fight's close, I can see a draw. I can easily see a draw. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't see one fighter running away with the fight. Clearly, if I can't see that narrative. I think both dudes fight very circumspect up front. Neither fighter is great off the mark, but then both fighters like to dominate the middle rounds and like to dominate the championship rounds. You got two styles who, if you actually look at the landscape of things, the styles should gel. But it's going to be real hard because a lot of the rounds are gonna be what you like. What do
Let
you
me let
prefer?
me fix let me fix it. Let me fix it for you real quick. All you got to do is look at Spence real step up fights that he's had. Let's say when it's some comp, like Ugas showed him some comp. You see what I'm saying? Like Ugas was getting his, Porter was getting his. He
Kell Brook,
takes it true.
same
Look
thing,
now,
same thing with Kell Brook.
now, yeah, but let me go back. He takes advantage and he looks like the Spence of dominance when he's fighting the Garcias, when he's fighting like those Granados type of dudes and the Mikey type of guys. He's looking like a Spence type monster. But when it's a guy that's, almost comparable to what he's bringing to the table, Spence likes to make it a little bit back and forth. Fights can be close. You know what I mean? He edged Porter strictly by that one knockdown, and Porter bounced right back up. So it wasn't really a killer shot like that. You know what I mean? It was a catchy shot. It clipped him. It was nice. You know what I mean? It was boxing because he ate it and he fired right back, and Porter didn't get them hands home, and he got clipped. He, you know what I mean, touched the canvas. So if you look at that fight in itself, that was a back and forth fight. Now on the other side, Crawford dominated Porter. But what happened to Porter? Look what Spence took out of him. You know what I mean? But it took a back and forth fight for Spence to take that out of him to make it easy cakewalk for Crawford. So I think it could be a back and forth, bro. It
It's
could
gonna
be
be
a
a
draw.
good fight regardless. Fight of the year, most definitely. That's what Blunt was saying. Even Steven, definitely. Spence way too busy. I think you're looking at that a little bit too clouded.
Yeah,
Punch
let me say
output,
this. Let me. I can
output
answer it real quick.
doesn't equal winning rounds.
Spence is not the greatest tracker. So when you dealing with an excellent boxer, is Spence going to be, trying to wait for those times when Bud really slowing down? Because Bud can pot shot, play you from the outside, get you slowed down, then get inside and work real quick. But I think Bud's better on the foot with the footwork and the true,
Facts. Facts.
side to side boxing, pivot game. I'm giving that edge to Bud.
Definitely.
I think physically
Definitely.
stronger. I gotta say Spence is probably the
Of
physically
course. Of
stronger
course.
boxer.
Of course.
His fighting style is stronger. Bud uses his strength when I got this dude hurting. He I got him set up for something. Now I'm really throwing the double shot. You know what I mean? Like if you playing baseball, you want to hit a double. That's the shots that Crawford throws, and he gets you in trouble, and then you go for the knockout. So he's
Facts.
smart enough not to fight heavy, all his combos, things like that.
I,
He's
I, I, I,
scoring.
and also this perception of Errol Spence being too busy. I just feel like he has very effective pressure, but Errol Spence isn't a Castano. Like he isn't a Julio Cesar Martinez. He isn't a fighter who's just going out there
He's no
boasting and
haggler.
Yeah,
He's no,
he's not throwing 500 punches around. Like he's still very, very systematic with his punches. You know,
yeah.
if Crawford
That's
ain't
why I
there,
said,
he ain't gonna be throwing.
yeah, he don't fight Mexican style. He
Yeah,
fights hard. Listen, he fights hard, so it looks like he's throwing a lot of punches. Cause when he's getting now, he knows he's at his guy. He gonna let off. He gonna
literally.
tee off like an F-150 coming down. You know what I mean? The block at 45, 50 miles an hour. But it looks like he's throwing a lot of shots, but he's not. His tracking. I think he's gonna have to really work on tracking Bud
And then
down.
also what you have to look at as well is the fact that there's gonna be times in the fight where Crawford's gonna be southpaw, and there's gonna be times in the fight where Crawford's gonna be orthodox. I think to just be naive and think because Errol Spence throws a lot of punches, he's gonna win the rounds. I think that's very, very,
I
very
gotta give
one-sided.
now. That's one thing
One-sided.
I would differ with you with Shane. I think the switching, I don't think that's gonna bother Spence. Kudos to the coach, you know what I mean? So I give him credit for being able to
I,
keep
I,
these guys sharp with that. Switching
I
is
think
not as deadly as it
I,
can be with other fighters,
I,
to
I
me.
think I think it. I'm not saying it's gonna be like a pit. It's gonna be a game changer. I'm just saying in the sense that when you look at, you can't just being having a lot of output doesn't automatically mean you're gonna win the round. There's so much different factors. Is he gonna have a high output when Crawford is southpaw? Is he gonna have a high output when Crawford's orthodox? There's so much elements you have to think about more than just punch output. He's gonna be busy. That's
Now
very, very one-sided
when
to look
y'all
at
say
things.
can't be no stoppage, I disagree with that. I think it can be a stoppage. One reason why I say I think it can be a stoppage, because Earl got hurt by Ugas, and Ugas is not a great, like his punch selection is, he don't have 6 punches, 7 punches.
Yeah, yeah.
Ugas, he hurt him with those 3, 4 punches that he throws every fight. That
Facts.
uppercut shit to the body, you know what I mean? And he throws like a little baby hook. He don't have like counter punch, like you know what I mean, 45s and things like that. You know what I mean? He got like
Lonzo Turner says Spence was weight drained first for the Porter fight. Bro, I don't even want to hear that because he's a professional. That fight was at 147. That fight wasn't at 140, it was at 147. So
yeah,
he has no excuse for that
he been
fight.
at 147 dominant 5, 6 years now. I don't think we can say weight drain. Now he has some outside of the ring stuff going on as far as, you know what I mean, accidents and whatever else going on. You know, I know he making a family, things like that. So I mean, a lot of those things can affect you, and we don't know about them all the time. So he might have been off key as far as like being on point, really like trying to step on the gas and get rid of Porter. But Porter's a little tricky. Porter used a lot of side to side movement. That's why I'm telling you about his track game. He didn't really start tracking Porter until the later rounds when he knew, okay, I gotta wait, catch something, then throw this hook. Because Porter hands don't go back defensively that fast, and it worked. So he was
But
still mentally in that fight, but he might have not been fully there to truly take advantage, stop Porter from
Willie,
cutting, going side to
Willie,
side and
Willie
spinning.
G says Porter missed a lot of punches that fight as well. All of his fights, and I had Porter up in the Crawford fight before the stoppage.
But Porter ain't never been the most accurate dude. Porter just throws a combination. So something going to land. That's why he's throwing. If you look at his style, he's back and forth. He's dipping, coming back, trying to throw something back and forth, trying to use a little bit of defense with the way he was doing it. But when he got dropped, Spence just timed it. He waited for that first hook, and he was like, "I'm gonna throw mine before he dips and tries to throw his second hook." That's what his style was. You timed him. Same thing with Crawford. He waited, timed him, got him out of there. That's what
Fight of
happens
the
when you had that style.
Fight of the year, if we get AJ versus Fury, though, no chance. That is no
You
Willie
are
fight of the year.
tripping. If y'all homers don't stop that talk like that, man, Just say you're an AJ fan, you wish the dude the best of luck, but your guy is on back-to-back losses. I'm not expecting the best out of him. That's like me saying Babyface Kalnacki about to go on a heavyweight title run. You know what I mean? He all coming off back-to-back losses. Come on, bro. That's
But
my
hey, but
guy, but gotta
Wilder's
be
coming off back.
practical.
Wilder's coming off back-to-back losses as well.
Yeah, you don't see me again. Let's talk. Let's be practical. Didn't I say that's about a 50-50 fight? Didn't
You
I
did
say
say
that?
that. You did say that.
Thank you.
You did
Thank
say
you.
that. You've been consistent with that. Still, true. Porter lost that fight with TC in the gym. Bro, he lost that fight in the ring. I think he lost that fight in the ring. I don't think Crawford is going to take a flush shot. Look at what Mean Machine did to Bud. That was a knockdown. Of course, that was a knockdown. Boxing. I mean, I feel like a lot of people, again, I can see scenarios in where Errol Spence can definitely get the better hand of Crawford, but I feel like relying on isolated scenarios from individual specific fights isn't. I mean, I know Blunt done that with the Ugas situation. Personally, I don't necessarily feel isolated scenarios like the Ugas situation or the Kavalauskas situation is going to have anything to do with this fight. It's just the style, you know. You haven't seen the best of EJ. I don't know what you're basing that off. Personally, in my opinion, I don't know what more Errol Spence can show us. I don't know what more Errol Spence can show us. He said we've seen the
I'm
best
gonna be
of
honest.
TC.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I think when the stakes is so high as it is now, and both guys got respectable trainers, solid trainers, guys that should, always had a name in a hat for trainer of the year sort of thing based on the run that their fighters have been on. That being said, I think these dudes is both smart enough to really try to, bring a new trick for their fighters in this situation. And these dudes is athletic. Neither one of these dudes is above the point that they can't add a wrinkle to the game, bro. So I think we're not giving them credit far saying or not saying you or Alonzo is off point or anything. Just thinking like we gotta give him a little bit of credit for saying Bud might work on some footwork. He might be trying to pivot. He might do something different. Hey, what about the tie-up game to slow Bud's movement down? We're not giving the camp nothing, the ability to say they could throw a wrinkle in the game, like I said, bro. I think we gotta give them that before we just key in and say this is what's gonna happen. You gotta be open.
I feel like with the style that Errol Spence fights is very rigid. You ain't gonna see Errol Spence fighting off the back foot.
But listen,
Errol Spence boxing on his toes off. Go on.
Can I say this real quick? I ain't gonna. I got you. We haven't. I agree with you. But has he really fought athletic dudes such as Bud? As far as the way Bud fights, he fights on his toes. He's in and out. He throws combination. He throws singles. He has to. So that means Earl has to change a little bit. Not change your core. Not go away from what's got you to the dance. But add, like I said, just the new little tool. You know what I mean? Like you gotta change the drill bit from time to time.
I don't see that. I don't see that because, and this is my point. Like, if you're going into any war and your arsenal is limited, is much limited than your opponent, and I'm not saying you can't win. You're just automatically at a disadvantage already. Now I can talk about Crawford's disadvantages all day long, but I just feel like with the chat that we're having right now, everybody's focusing on what Spence can do and what Crawford can't do. And I feel like if I was to break it down, I can go all day on what Crawford can do that Spence can't. There's so many things. There is no way we can go around in circles. Maybe Blunt might think he's going to add something to his arsenal. Maybe I can almost guarantee you are not going to see Errol Spence do a Sugar Ray Leonard impression. He is not going to be on his toes. He is not going to be moving around the ring looking like Lomachenko. He ain't doing none of that. He's going to come behind.
I never know, but hold up, Shane.
With pressure.
Now you're expecting a complete different change or something like sort of almost out of the realm of his natural ability. I said something like subtle, like hit and hold. You know what I mean? Like he don't do that a lot. He don't really take advantage of his size. This is a fight he could really take advantage of, getting him caught up on the rope somehow, making sure he tie him in and get that one hand off. Like that's a new wrinkle. That's something he don't do a lot unless it's a smaller guy. Like he had Mikey punishing him up on the ropes. He had Garcia on the ropes a couple times. So he does that. But in this one, he might have to do it more strategically than that's just the course of the fight. You see what I'm saying? A new wrinkle. Something subtle like that, bro. That's not hella athletic, bro. But that's different than the norm. He wasn't doing that to Porter. He wasn't doing that to Ugas. Come on now, Shane.
Spence, he wasn't doing that to Ugas, and he's not going to do that to Crawford.
But Ugas is not as athletic of a fighter that you would have to maybe throw a wrinkle like, yo, hook him up and really cut off. You know what I mean? Really dig to the body. Really, you know what I'm saying? Make him burn energy by fighting back, fighting to get loose.
Errol Spence is going to go for body shots. I am almost certain for that. He's going to go for body shots.
So you telling me? So you telling me the best way to get for sure get off to the body, use burn energy on a fighter is not to tie and fight? I'm
not saying that's not the. I'm not saying that can't work. I'm just saying that's not what he's gonna do.
I mean, but to say that's not what he's going to do, but it's not a possibility. I think we both on that realm of could be wrong. You see what I'm saying?
I'm just going on track record.
I give you that, and my track record is proving that he does do that. Though he's only done it against guys he's really dominated. But this is the time he could do it against. He's done that against Mikey to muscle Mikey up to the ropes.
Yeah, of course.
And the inside and go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe you're right, but then I can easily say that both dudes. I can hand on heart say that this is the biggest puncher Crawford has ever fought, and this is the biggest puncher Spence has ever fought. So. To me,
so Shane,
it's about
when you
how
say that,
they react when they feel that power.
So that's if you're saying these are the biggest punches, what's the best way to avoid power? Is usually getting on the inside. Am I correct?
Not all the time. Not all the time.
Okay. We ain't know. Well, I can fight you. I can go against you. Where Crawford is not really an inside guy, and his power is not on the inside. So that's the best place for Spence to be.
But this is I agree. I 100% I agree. The best place for Spence to be is on the inside. But I'm telling you that, in my opinion, when you see this fight happen, Errol Spence is gonna try and land body shots, and he's gonna try and get on the inside 100%. And Crawford might meet him right in the middle. But I feel like once each other felt each other's power, there's going to be a difference. Let me get through these comments. Spence did not get hurt. He hit him in the neck and knocked his mouthpiece out. I think Errol Spence was hurt in the Ugas fight, to be honest. Just telling you that. Telling you what EJB said. I don't really listen to what fighters say, to be honest. Porter Daddy got him out of there. Yeah, he did. But he got knocked down 3 times in the same round. So I couldn't see it lasted much longer. Okay, you guys keep your 500K buys. Meanwhile, AJ Fury at least does 2 million. That's fine. We didn't say it's going to sell the most. We just said it's going to be the best fight. That doesn't mean just because it sells more. I mean, Jake Paul sold a lot of pay-per-views. Doesn't mean that he's the best fight.
Look, bro, man, wifey was checking on them Paul tickets, bro. This motherfucker out there starting at 200 for the nosebleeds, my dude. Like, so the boy Paul is out there selling the bag. So don't mean he in the best fight. So again, I gotta agree with Shane, bro.
A bigger fight doesn't mean a better fight, bro. At the end of the day, Will Stokes, you ain't getting paid. So why do you care about how much sales it does? Is it a better fight from a fan's perspective? Of course not.
Come on, Will. You got one dude coming off
2 losses. You got one dude coming off 2 losses, and another dude who has only fought 1 fighter in 3 years.
And then let me say this: why is the advantage? let me say this. Why is the advantage not towards Fury? Fury's a good boxer. He's probably as good as Usyk at this time fighting somebody like AJ. So AJ had trouble fighting a smaller boxer who was getting hands put on. He got off better in this fight than he did the first fight. You know what I mean? So, but he still was getting hit in the mouth. His gas tank is garbage. Now you're going up against a bigger guy that can box, that got tactics to tire you out, got tactics to slow you down. Bro, it's an uphill battle for your boy AJ, man. I mean, I feel your support for your guy. I wouldn't waste the bag on that fight, though. I'm at least betting on AJ. That's all I can say. Cheer for your dude best you can. Don't waste no money on that shit.
We are gonna see the best Errol November 19th. I hope we do.
Yes, I believe that. I agree with that 100%. This is history, baby. This undisputed, baby. This is, man, and this is his biggest payday. I think this will be his biggest payday ever.
Yes, both fighters' biggest payday. But I know what you're saying with the losses, but I will say that just that AJ is coming off those losses, I think the fight will still be almost as good as it would have been before. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Can I say this? Can I say this? I see knockout. Off top, I see your boy AJ getting stopped.
I can see that. And I'll go as far
if
as
he tries to dig to Fury's body, man, Fury gonna counterpunch the shit out that dude. You don't want to trade headshots for body shots.
Facts. I think when you look at that fight, and I feel like AJ's confidence is completely gone, and his head is completely gone as well. And Tyson Fury is the mastermind of mind games, bro. He's the last person you want to go into a war with.
And then you hired, I'm not gonna say a bad trainer, but a trainer that was just on a bad run, and a trainer that never really worked with big fighters before. So that might not have been the smartest move. I don't know who helping you manage your career, bro, but you might need to fire them. I ain't gonna lie. Whoever talked you into taking this fight, you need to fire them.
He has to take the fight, though. He has to take the fight. He has to take the fight.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Of course, it's money. I mean, at this point, it's just about money for him. It's not about no real being a contender. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, if he beats Fury, you can say because he's
not going to beat Fury, bro. Just stop it, bro. What about what he's shown you? Because
he's got a chance. He's got a chance.
What? Okay. What did he show you against Usyk that tells you he has a chance against Fury?
Usyk's a better boxer than Fury, so.
But again, I said Fury's as good.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Hold up. Y'all was just calling this dude like the greatest heavyweight champion of all time, wasn't y'all?
I didn't. I never once said that. You never heard me say that.
Said
me. You never heard me once say that.
Y'all was talking about Fury beating Wilder, and oh man, this gotta put him in historical record books and this, that, and the third.
I think y'all said,
hold up. No, y'all said if he beat Usyk and Usyk, like if he beat Usyk, he like the best of all time and all.
I never once said the best of all time. I said he's the Hall of Famer.
You might as well have said that.
If he beats Usyk, he's an all-time great. In my opinion, if he beats Usyk, he's an all-time great. That would be
all the nonsense that he's been through,
bro. That would be Klitschko, Usyk, and Wilder. That is 3 solid names. 3 solid.
That's only 3 solid names out of a 30-some-odd plus fight career.
Yes,
Jeff, how you doing? What's groovy with you, Playboy?
If Fury beats Usyk,
hold on, man.
All-time great.
Shane, you're being rude. You know Jeff in the building, man. Why you gonna do that?
He can introduce himself, bro. I don't really care about that, bro. Answer my question.
Stone Cold.
What was the question? What was the question?
If Fury beats Usyk, is he an all-time great?
Not in my estimation. He can be respected in the record books, but that's 3 on a long list, bro. And there's a lot of chicanery on that resume too, bro. I told you that's the dude, the king of the shenanigans, bro. I can't put you in no all-time great?
For the people that concerned about it, G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru. Enough with the pleasantries. Damn, is he an all-time great? You said
I didn't
if he
say the
beats
greatest.
Usyk?
I didn't say a greatest. I said if he beats Usyk, is he an all-time great? Is he like a top 10 heavyweight of all time?
Hell no.
Nah, I'm not gonna say top 10.
What?
No, I'm not gonna say top 10.
No, not off three names, bro. Not off three
Can
names.
you name
would
10
say-
heavyweights? Can you name 10 heavyweights with a better resume than Fury if he was to beat Usyk? Can you name 10 heavyweights with a better resume than
Michael Moore?
No, he doesn't. He did not beat more elite fighters than Fury. He did not beat more elite fighters than Fury.
He had one belt like Fury got one belt.
Fury's held
He
all
w-
4 belts, bro. He's held all 4 belts.
Hold up. What all 4 belts has Fury had?
When he beat Klitschko, he won all 3 belts, and then he
Man,
lost those
that motherfucker
3
was
and-
doped out, bro. I ain't giving him no credit for that shit, man. That motherfucker cocained up and failing drug tests and all kind of weirdo shit, man. That's again shenanigans. I'm not giving you no credit, bro.
Bro.
Then Klitschko was like half dead. They had to wheel Klitschko out the goddamn nursing home.
Resume. I'm asking a question.
Let me say this before I get into your second part of the question. If he beats Usyk, he's Hall of Fame for sure. He's Hall of Fame for sure.
Then he's all-time great, Jeff. What you talking about?
So you don't hold on. So you don't have him. Hold on, just everybody in the Hall of Fame ain't an all-time great because everybody don't belong in the Hall of Fame that's in it. So that's not necessarily true.
Jeff,
that's not necessarily
hold
true.
up, Jeff. You sound like you. Hold up. Can I say something real quick, Jeff? Hold up, one time, real fast. You sound like you playing tennis by yourself.
Bro,
was like, no.
Listen. Check this out. Answer this question for me, and this is where I'm gonna drop the mic. And I only been in here 5 minutes. Is everyone that's in the Hall of Fame deserving to be in the Hall of Fame?
Nope.
Yes or no?
Nope.
No, I can agree with that.
So that means that everybody in the Hall of Fame is not an all-time great because everyone don't belong in the Hall of Fame. No, I'm talking to him, the guy down the bottom. I ain't talking to you, Shane. I'm talking to the guy down the bottom.
But you said he's not an all-time great,
bro.
And then you brought up Hall of Fame to kind of almost say he's close to an all-time great. Either he is or he isn't.
Let me finish. He would be a Hall of Famer. He will be a Hall of Famer. There's a lot of heavyweights in the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of heavyweights in the Hall of Fame that I would take over Tyson Fury or have him beat.
Can we just answer the question without bringing in Hall of Fame?
Okay.
And say, is he all-time great? Yeah. Hold on, Shane. Let me nail him down, Shane. Yes or no, Jeff? If he beats Usyk, is he an all-time great?
Technically, yes. Technically.
That's what I said.
It's an asterisk on it, but it's technically. It's not this. Hold on, Shane. And this where I gotta get. This where I gotta get what you at, Shane. You know this era is not a great heavyweight era. You know that. You know that, Shane.
Neither was Mike Tyson. Neither was Mike Tyson.
I understand that, but Mike Tyson was transcending though. Impact. He was transcending.
That's what I wanted to say about Mikey.
What way?
First southpaw to win the heavyweight title.
Shane, you are a boxing historian. Please
no.
When
Wait. When you say transcending, I understand. I don't want to misconstrue where you're going with this. That's what I'm asking.
Hold on. If I'm playing tennis by myself, then Shane, you definitely playing tennis by yourself.
Because wait. Can I speak? Can I speak?
Go ahead.
I understand in the sense that he transcended in the sense that of what he done to the sport. I get that.
Right.
But when you look at you spoke about errors. Mike Tyson in the late 80s, early 90s, and in the words of Blunt, we can all agree he was fighting older statesmen dudes who were past their prime. So, in my opinion, the same belt that I can beat Tyson Fury with, I can beat Mike Tyson with. Because if you're saying that Tyson Fury wasn't in a great era, which I agree with, because he wasn't in the Fraser Foreman Ali era. If you're saying that, then It's the same way I can say, well, neither was Mike Tyson. But if you ask any historian, they'll say Mike Tyson is an all-time great.
Right, because he was a transcendent talent.
But he got body. Mike got body.
Mike got bodies too. Mike got bodies.
But he don't have better body than Fury. He does not have better body than Fury. He doesn't have better body than Fury.
Mike had
Hold
on. Mike had bodies when he was young though. He was catching bodies when he was young.
But Jeff, you're saying that Fury, the only asterisks the asterisk you used was Fury did not have a great era. And my statement is Mike Tyson, neither did he, because he beat Larry Holmes. He was past it. But
I followed it up with saying if I had to pick a difference between the two, I would say Mike Tyson was a transcendent talent and he made historical leaps where Tyson Fury didn't. That's the only thing I'm saying. Everything else I agree with, though. Everything else I agree with.
I would say then, Tyson Fury beat other all-time greats. Klitschko is an all-time great no matter how you look at it. If he beats Usyk is an all-time great no matter how you look at it. Tyson hasn't done that.
Well,
are we gonna say that? Are we gonna say that Klitschko
you said Tyson ain't beat all-time greats?
He did not beat an all-time great. Name me one all-time great he beat.
Larry Holmes. Fuck you talking about?
Larry Holmes was 3 years out of the ring and he was 40 years old, bro.
Again. Okay, you just brought up Klitschko. I told you they wheeled him out the back of the goddamn geriatric center. They had the van and everything out back waiting for him.
Wait. Was Klitschko not coming off a 19 straight winning streak, bro? Yeah, only Larry Holmes had a better winning streak than this dude.
But Shane,
but Larry Holmes ain't all-time great.
He didn't fight him at that point, though, bro.
Hold on. Shane, you act like you didn't see that fight. Did you see that fight?
But we're talking about record books, bro.
I understand that, but did you see that fight?
Of course, bro. Of course, I did.
But you're talking like Fury put in work. He won that fight dancing around and showboating. You know that, Shane.
I agree. You're preaching to the choir, bro. But I'm not a Tyson Fury fan. But I can't argue with record books, bro. It's staring me right in the face. A dude was 19 straight. He was the longest reigning champion outside of Larry Holmes. The longest reigning champion outside of Larry Holmes.
And that era was just a little weaker than this one.
I'm not going to disagree with
them 19 straight fights.
I'm not disagreeing, bro. I lived in that area. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, bro. But you can't take what do you expect Tyson Fury to do? What do you expect him to do? Because he can't pick his era, bro. He can only beat the best dudes in his era, and he did that.
I need more than 3 names. I gave him more than 3 names,
bro. I gave him Hall of Fame.
I need more than 3 names.
I gave him Hall of Fame. Bro,
I
give you this, Shane. I'll give you this real quick, Shane. Holler at me tomorrow about that other question, about that top 10 thing. Holler at me. Let me think. Okay. Let me think about it.
Mike drop on this one, bro. Mike drop on this one. Mike drop on this one. You said 3 names to start this whole conversation, and one of them is a possibility. So no, he's not an all-time great.
I didn't say
is he a Hall of Famer in your book?
No.
I didn't say he's an all-time great right now. I said if he beats Usyk, he's an all-time great. I didn't say he's an all-time great right now.
That fight ain't gonna probably happen because Usyk gonna probably lose one of them belts before then.
That's why I said if we're talking about a hypothetical.
I accidentally clicked on one of the comments. I don't remember where we left off at.
I know where we are.
I clicked it by accident.
But yes, of course, Spence Crawford is a banger. I'm joking with the pay-per-view talk. Yeah, bro, there's no way you can argue that Fury and AJ is bigger than Spence. Is better than Spence and Crawford because it isn't. Ugas was extremely athletic before EJ broke him down. I think Ugas's athleticism is still limited though.
It's always been limited.
I think he's more athletic than what he shows in the ring. Like I just think he's this basic. Like I think he's more athletic than what he shows.
Or do some press ups, he'll be amazing. But he doesn't. He's not like I don't look at him and look at him like how I looked at Roy Jones Jr. or Boots Ennis. Those dudes are naturally athletic.
Yeah.
No, because TC got KO power in a short range. Crawford's got more power than Spence. I can put that on everything.
Not short range, bro. Not
he's got
when
more
it comes
power
to
at every range. He's got more power at every range. You got more power at every range.
If you telling me I got Spence getting close, doing my rap game I told you about, and digging, getting off, playing monster, playing big man, his power is going to be more effective than that short range power, y'all. Short range meaning if Bud beat you to the punch and he don't really have to extend, he could probably knock somebody out. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But we're not going to have that sort of collision because we're going to have Spence fighting a lot smarter than to just try to beat Bud to the punch type of shit.
But Spence is a volume puncher. So I've never seen, other than the one incident where he catch and countered Porter, I don't remember seeing this dude catch and counter someone with a one piece and then it's over. I see Crawford do that all the time. Hit a dude with a one piece, the fight's over.
I never said knock him out. I said be stronger.
I'm not saying I'm answering the question. I'm just answering the question. I'm not talking about you. I'm just answering the question. We all know Fury is a better style matchup than for AJ than Usyk ever was, though. Let's be honest. Of course, Jeff said that before the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
How y'all see that? In what way?
You may keep going with the comments, Shane?
No, answer Jeff Blunt's question.
No, I'm sorry. Can you repeat your question, bro? I'm sorry.
I said, in what way do y'all feel like he's a better matchup style-wise than Usyk? Usyk being a smaller guy.
Usyk's a smaller guy. Number one, he's a southpaw. AJ doesn't like fighting southpaws. He's admitted that on camera several times.
Man, boxing is boxing, bro. Don't give me no excuse.
No, hell no, Shane. Hey, bro, come on, bro. Come on,
at this level, bro. At this level,
come on, bro.
At this level, if you 12 fights in and you tell, hold up, if you 12 fights in and you tell me, yo, I gotta fight my first southpaw, I could see you having some little hang-ups about that. Bro, we talking about unification of the world heavyweight title. I don't want to hear nothing about no southpaw shit.
Bro, Vlog, you be discrediting yourself, bro. You are so smart. Bro.
How?
You are so smart, bro. When an orthodox fighter is not used to fighting southpaws. They're not used to it. It's an adjustment. When an orthodox fighter got to fight a southpaw, the orthodox fighter got to make the adjustment. Am I correct?
But I counter that with this is unified heavyweight championship of the world. That goes out the window.
It can't. It doesn't. Because that's like saying someone's power goes out of the window because it's an undisputed fight. It's an attribute. It is an attribute. No matter how you look at it, it is an attribute.
No, what I'm saying is, I don't want to hear you tell me after you done lost twice, I don't like fighting southpaws, or before you about to lose twice, I don't like fighting southpaws. Then don't fight. Don't sign a contract for the heavyweight championship of the world. That's all I can tell you.
Of course, but you're looking at it and you're asking Jeff to answer a question. Why was it a harder fight? One of the main reasons is because it's a southpaw. You got a dude who's got lineal power, which means he's got power in straight.
My response is not saying Jeff is wrong. My response would be towards the camp, towards AJ, as a paying boxing fan. I don't want to hear no excuses, bro. I done paid.
It's not excuses. You just asked me a question. It's not excuses. I'm just telling you. Like, I'm just answering the question.
You, Jeff. I'm not saying you. I said my response wouldn't be to you. It would be towards hearing that. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember hearing that per se myself, but now I hear it. That's my response.
Fair enough. But
you're probably right. Fury a matchup better because it's orthodox against orthodox. But Fury boxes just as well as Usyk.
No, we don't.
So I think it's still gonna be a hard fight.
No, you don't.
Neither one of them is going to be an easy fight. Fury's not going to be an easy fight for AJ at all, like from a style perspective. But go ahead.
Didn't Shane just say Fury danced around the ring against the Russian to win the unified title?
He boxes as good as Usyk, and I'm telling you, he doesn't box
as far as being a heavyweight, somebody that jabs, moves, uses his weight to his advantage, fights a little dirty at times. That's boxing.
Fury is not a great boxer. Fury has great dimensions. There is a difference. I keep telling people this, bro. If Fury was 6'4", so Fury wouldn't be a great boxer.
If you're using your dimensions in the form of boxing, is that not good boxing?
No, it's good dimensions.
Oh my
There's
God.
a difference.
Oh my. Okay.
It's a good.
All right, bro.
All right,
bro. Never mind. You're right, Shane. You're right. Logic, bro. And he argue logic. Just because he's stone cold, bro.
You can't tell me that the reason why you're capable of doing what you're doing is because you have good dimensions. Then that's your dimensions. I'm not giving you credit.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Shane. Slow down a minute. I said if you use your dimensions in the ring of boxing and it's good boxing, doesn't that make you a good boxer?
No, I think it's just a good person who's taking advantage of his attributes.
Don't be killing me. Okay, you're right.
Hold on. Vlog. Trust me, this is just a friendly jab. But Vlog, does that sound like the description of a top 10 all-time fighter?
In terms of accomplishment,
yo, he said all he got is dimensions, but he top 10 all time, though.
Because of his accomplishments, bro.
I'm just messing with you, bro. Shane, I'm just messing with you, bro. Trust me, I'm just messing with you. I said it was a friendly jab, bro. It was a friendly jab.
I apologize. I sure do apologize.
I'll be honest, bro. No. I'll be honest. If I break down Fury right now, stylistically right now, Fury doesn't do anything special to me other than the fact that this dude is 6'9" and he's got ridiculously long arms and he can move on the back foot. He's got a bit of bounce in his feet. But if you
actually that's good boxing, bro. That's good boxing.
It's basics. But let me tell you why I don't feel like it's good boxing, because he makes clear mistakes that he gets away with because of how tall he is. Let me give you an example, bro. You see a dude, he goes back in straight lines all the time. Does a good boxer go back in straight lines? No, but he does it and he gets away with it because he's big. Bro, that's something he does all the time. He fights and he leaves the back door every time with his hands down. Is that good boxing? Bro. No. He's got terrible transitional footwork.
Like discrediting Shaq for backing somebody down all the time. That's like saying Shaq can't play basketball because he backs you down and dunks on you. What are you talking about, bro?
I didn't say that.
That's the same thing. You're saying.
No, I said he makes clear mistakes and gets away with it. He makes clear mistakes and gets away with it.
He can't shoot free throws. Clear mistakes.
And that's why he ain't throwing. That's why he ain't shooting. You don't see Shaq shooting like Steph. This dude don't do that. I'm not gonna say, Shaquille O'Neal is the best shooter in the world.
Bro, that's my point. So you want to blame Fury for using his dimension.
I didn't blame him. I just said he's not that. Bro, if you're making clear mistakes,
said he's not that good of a boxer.
Because he makes clear mistakes, bro. He makes clear mistakes. You're telling me you don't see this guy make gaping mistakes, bro. Are you telling me that?
I never said he's boots. I said he's a good. This is heavyweight, so we're not expecting all this super agility that Usyk's able to show us coming up from a smaller weight.
You just told me he's the same level as Usyk. You just told me that, bro. You just told me that.
I said he's as good as a boxer for a heavyweight. For a heavyweight at this level, what other boxer in the heavyweight division is as good as Fury?
Usyk.
Who's a better boxer right now at heavyweight than Fury?
Usyk.
Outside of Usyk. Outside of Usyk.
That's a hard one. Because as Jeff said, we don't have a great era of boxing. We don't have a great era of boxing. We don't have great boxers in this era.
I don't care about that. But we have other boxers. Am I correct? There's other heavyweights out there. Am I correct?
That also make the same mistakes as him. That also make the
So,
same mistakes as him.
Is he better than them at making those mistakes? Also using what he does good in the ring. Is he better than them?
Yeah, he's better than them.
Then hold up. Let me finish. Then it goes back to my statement. He's as good as Usyk.
No, he's not.
Going to be problems for AJ. That's all I was getting to.
Usyk does everything in the ring better than Fury. Everything.
I never said
everything in the ring better.
I said he's as good based on leveling in 1, 2, 3. Best boxer heavyweight, Usyk. Okay, we give you that. Unified champion. Who's got to be second on the list? It has to be Fury. So, as good.
One better than the other. That just means one
never
better
said
than
it
the
wasn't.
other.
You hear this dude? He just has to be right, bro. It's cool. You right. I'm wrong.
AJ is Fury's hardest fight. Mark my words. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that because
we missed one though. Y'all missed Lonzo had one before that, I think.
AJ's weak-minded. Yeah, he is.
Lonzo, hold on. Let me speak on that real quick. The one thing that I will say about AJ is that you can tell it's easy to get in his ear. You can tell it's real easy to get in his ear, which leads to the weak mind.
Can I support that real quick, Jeff?
Yeah.
He signed his contract. That's how you could tell it's real easy to get in his ear.
Well,
no, but he didn't have a choice, though.
Yeah, he was locked in.
And it's easy to get in his ear and make him do what he's supposed to do. Or what you want him to do.
Yeah,
I think he done what he was supposed to do.
I mean, once Eddie Hearn made that mistake that we always talk about, I mean, it was pretty much downhill from there.
Can I say this? Can I say this? What you're supposed to do is go get a win after 2 losses.
No, bro. Truthfully, when you got that much money on the table and you just coming off 2 losses, bro, you go get that back, bro. You can get
the suit. Because the suits done told you they ain't scared of your 6-pack. They got something with that.
You know what?
You can go get an easy win and lose.
Hey, Vlog, I'll tell you this, bro. Me personally, I don't have an issue with the AJ Fury fight because if it was the same thing, if Wilder was given the same opportunity to get a 4th fight with Fury after 2 straight losses, I would be okay with that one.
I'm not. Why? Okay, we're different. I'm not paying for that.
I didn't say. Hold on. That's two different issues, Vlog. You said
no,
you
it's the same issue as a fan and as somebody that supports boxing. It's the same issue.
So you wouldn't watch that fight?
I'd probably check for the results, but I would not watch it as it would not make sense for boxing. As we were talking about, is somebody really going to pay to see the Ben Eubanks joint when it doesn't make any sense for boxing?
You a straight fitted cap right now. You a straight fitted cap right now. You gonna watch it right along with me and Shane, bro. Stop that shit.
I mean, y'all stop that shit. We good, baby.
Stop that. Right. So that's why I asked you. I didn't say how you was gonna watch it. I said, are you gonna watch it?
Okay.
I'm saying that's 2 different questions.
Ray Roy says
I was thinking about it from a paying fans perspective. That's what I was thinking.
I knew you was thinking that. That's why I said, that's a separate joint.
Ray Roy says, and anyone in here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, go to
man, go to my channel and watch it.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. I think some of them are watching it on your channel, to be honest. Go to g5jefftv.com, make your predictions for the prediction league. But yeah, Ray Roy says Bud going to get EJ out of there by 10. I'm not sure about that. I think it's going to go the distance, to be honest. Tim Bradley beat 2 all-time. Also, Pac and Marquez. Is Tim Bradley an all-time great?
Good question. Good question.
That's a great question.
Shout out to Mark Nash. Big shout out to Mark Nash.
Tim Bradley also lost to a lot of top fighters. Well, he didn't lose a lot, but he lost fights as well.
Nah, what's that Russian boy name? That might have clinched it. He could be an all-time great because him and that Russian, Pavatnikov, bro, God dang,
that was a classic.
That motherfucker was a slugfest. So that type shit puts you on that list. You know what I mean? Where you got accomplishments by beating Pac, Marquez, and then you got fights like that. Yeah, you might be up there, bro. Yeah, all time. I give him that. I don't like him outside the ring. You know, he thiefing and shit. You know what I mean? Need to give my guy credit. You know, that's the guru, baby. He the first one to cook up with the lab coat. You did?
Lonzo Turner says if Tyson took Peds, he wouldn't be an all-time great. Well, I'm gonna say something real controversial. I mean, Roy Jones and Evander Holyfield have been accused of taking Peds, bro.
They ain't never been caught.
Apparently they have, but I don't want to get into that. I'm not going down that lane.
Let's get into it. What you talking about? You brought it up,
bro. I can speak on that.
Now he ducking.
Hold on. I can speak on that. So Roy Jones was officially caught. He was officially caught, but there was an explanation behind it that they bought. This was when Roy was, he was like God Roy. If I forgot what the substance was. I know at the time it wasn't of course it was different talk back then, but what it wasn't something that made everybody like, oh my God, but technically, yes. Holyfield, it was always rumored, but he never got like caught.
Mm-hmm.
He never got caught.
Mark Nash, G5 TV. Shout out to you, Mark Nash. He says, my UK brother is a little biased because he ain't gonna say Tim Bradley is an all-time great. I'm not biased at all, bro. I don't think you know me that well. Because if you know me, I'm not biased to British fighters at all. So that is definitely not the case. I'm not biased at all. If someone's an all-time great, I'm gonna say they're an all-time great. I don't. There's.
Whoa, back up real quick. I just want to see something real quick. Back up real quick. Now hit your mute button. I can hear you. I can hear you. Hit your mute button, Vlog.
It is. It's not now.
I think when he gets close, you hear that echo. But when he's in that spot right there, I think he's good.
That doesn't mean Fury top 10. Hell no. I mean, I'm waiting for someone to tell me 10 fighters with better names than Fury. That's all I'm waiting for.
Hold on, now, are you talking just straight resume?
Wins.
Better wins?
Better wins.
Hold on, Shane. Make this easier for us. You got a top 10 off the top of your dome?
Yeah, bro. You know me, bro. I'm
just checking. Go ahead. Give me 10. Give me 10.
Ali's number 1. Lennox Lewis number 2. Lennox Lewis number 2.
They're gonna chew you up for Lennox Lewis being number 2, but go ahead. They're gonna chew
Larry
you up.
Holmes
3.
Larry Holmes number 3. George Foreman number 4. Evander Holyfield number 5. Evander Holyfield for everyone. So Evander Holyfield might have to go higher.
Are you going? All right. This is interesting, y'all, because Shane is young. So some of these older guys he hasn't really seen.
Oh, sorry, Joe Lewis. I can't believe I didn't. Joe Lewis, sorry. I don't know where I would rank him though, but Joe Lewis definitely has to be there.
No particular order, Shane. You ain't gotta do no particular order.
Joe Lewis is definitely there. I'm going by elite wins. Elite wins only, bro. Elite win.
All right.
So yo, I'm not a fan of Rocky Marciano. I'm not a fan of Rocky Marciano.
Can I finish it out?
Go ahead.
You took me off?
No, you go on.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Riddick Bowe.
No chance.
George Foreman.
I said George Foreman already.
Riddick Bowe? Riddick Bowe? Didn't he beat Holyfield?
1 win. 1 elite win. And he also lost to Holyfield.
Didn't he?
1 elite win.
He beat Galata. He beat both
elite fighter. They're not elite fighters. They're not elite fighters, bro. They're not elite fighters. They're not elite fighters. Okay.
You put Fury on there. Fury got 2 wins.
3.
His 1 win over Holyfield puts him on the list. He was a heavyweight champion.
No, because we're talking about. I said if Fury beat
All right,
Usyk,
well,
so that
never
would be
mind.
3 wins.
Take Bo off of it. So, George Foreman ain't on there?
I said that already. I said that George Foreman
No,
already.
you didn't.
Yes,
No,
I
Foreman,
did,
he
bro.
Oh,
said-
you
he
must
said
have
Foreman.
did it when you were choppy.
I said
Okay, he
George
was
Foreman.
choppy. I ain't hear that. We can put we gotta put Deontay Wilder on there
You're on crack.
all time.
So
How is he not, bro? You
Wilder's
talking
ahead
about
of
40 and 0, 39
Deontay Wilder's
knockouts.
ahead of
That's
Fury.
all-time numbers
Deontay
to
Wilder's
me.
ahead of Fury. Deontay Wilder's ahead of Fury.
I never
make this make sense.
I never said he's
Make this
ahead.
make
I
sense.
said he's on the list. I never
they
said
both
he's
on the
ahead.
list?
We're saying
I said
top
he's on the
10.
list. We never
We're
put the
saying
numbers.
top
Am I
10.
correct?
So they both on the list?
You
They
got
both on-
Fury on the list, so I'm putting Deontay
No,
Wilder on it.
I'm
So
asking
you got
you.
on there by beating Deontay Wilder. Oh
No,
my
no,
God,
but
bro,
you're
you killing me.
saying,
Never.
bro, you're saying Fury is not on the list. So how can you put Wilder on the list if you're saying Fury is not on the list?
Before Wilder lost to Fury, he was already on the list.
But he was removed off the list because he lost to Fury.
How do you get removed off the list for losses?
Because you lost. You didn't beat an elite fighter, bro.
Everybody
You
on
did
the list lost, bro. Everybody
He
on the list
didn't
lost.
beat an
I'm
elite
done.
fighter. He did not beat an elite fighter. My criteria is very easy, bro. Did you beat an elite fighter?
Shane, let me ask Vlog this real quick. Vlog, I got a quick question for you, bro. Vlog, I got a quick question. Is Fury Hall of Fame if he beats Usyk? That's what I'm confused about.
You bringing up Hall of Fame, now we talking all-time great. What is it?
No, I asked Shane what was his top 10.
His top 10 Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame if he beats Usyk. He's Hall of Fame if he beats Usyk.
Okay. All right. So his Deontay Wilder comment. Okay. All right. Cool. Go ahead. All right. Cool.
My criteria is very simple, bro. How many elite fighters did you beat?
But your country, can I stop, Shane? You talk a lot. You was telling me I was talking earlier, but you contradicting yourself. You just said once you lose, you're off the list.
No,
Everybody you named on the
fighter, bro. Did he beat an elite fighter? Did he beat an elite fighter?
Oh my God, this fucking
You're
dude
not
keeps
answering my
talking.
question.
Can I talk?
Go ahead.
Everybody on your list has losses.
But
Am I
that
correct?
wasn't my criteria, bro. My criteria is has he beat an elite fighter? That is my criteria, bro. That's why I said Riddick Bowe isn't on my list, because he's only beaten one elite fighter. That's why I said Riddick Bowe wasn't on my list, bro. Have you beat an elite fighter? Yes or no? That's it. That is it. That is it. That is my only criteria. There is no other criteria. Have you beat an elite fighter? That's it. It's nothing that difficult.
I'm kind of curious to hear both of y'all.
Then your list should be extra full, because if you only need one victory against an elite fighter, then you on it. Or you need how many victories to get on your list? How many victories against elite fighters to get on your list at heavyweight all time? How many victories? Now we can keep fucking your list up,
I'm
bro.
trying to figure that out right now. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
So you
and I can't, because you ain't even got it figured out.
Shane,
wait.
So are you saying at least? So I'm assuming you're saying that the floor is 2.
No, wait, no.
Based off of your criteria.
No, wait, no.
Okay.
I'm trying, because the reason why I made that statement originally was based on the fact that I said Fury is a top 10 heavyweight of all time if he beats Usyk based on his resume and the amount of elite fighters he's beaten. And the reason why I said that was because I can't think of a heavyweight. Can you name 10 heavyweights who has beaten more elite fighters than Fury? And I can't. So that is my point. So it's not about what is the floor to reach the top 10. The floor is Fury. The floor is Fury. That's the floor.
Let me ask you this. Is Klitschko a, so you consider Klitschko an all-time great?
I consider Klitschko a.
Is he top 10?
He's not top 10. He's definitely not top 10. He's not top 10. But I would say, Klitschko's an all-time great, but he's not top 10.
He's not top 10. Okay.
No.
Would you put Klitschko ahead of Bo?
They're about the same. They're about on the same level.
About the same. Okay.
Yeah, they're about on the same level.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Let me get through the rest of these drinks real quick. Lonzo Turner said 100. My God, Southgate in the building, man. Says salute all here listening. Lonzo 100. Mark Nash, come on. We all seen the tall guy who fights small, i.e., and don't use their height and reach, and say why isn't he using his natural advantages? So,
Yeah.
Mark Nash, there's a lot of guys, not even heavyweight. There's a lot of guys that don't use their physical dimensions to give themselves the ultimate advantage inside of the ring. I know Tommy Hearns later on in his career didn't use his physical attributes as much as he did back in his younger days. He liked to get in there and, go. Robert Easter's another one.
Sebastian
Fondora's another one. Paul Williams is another one. There's a lot of guys that had a lot of physical attributes and didn't use them. So I mean, I understand what you're saying for sure. Lonzo 100. Southgate, Fury can box for sure. His size make it harder for him to box, but he boxes and moves really well for his size. You don't see guys that can box like Fury.
For his size, yeah, for his size.
Fury, he's literally like a NBA power forward doing what he's doing inside of the ring. So, I mean, yeah, you don't see that often. Southgate, I rate Fury's jab as well, which always comes first with boxing. I think he's vulnerable coming forward, but can box well on the back foot. Let me respond to that. I feel like Fury doesn't throw his jab enough. I feel like he could be way more dominant if he threw his jab more. It's perceived that he fights well off of the back foot because nobody can reach him when he's on the back foot. The only person that could really reach him was Wilder. But leaving out the back door, he's leaving out the back door and his hands is at his ribs.
If Wilder had coordinated footwork, Wilder will knock Fury out every time. But he just doesn't have it. That's it. It was nothing. It was just the fact that Wilder's shortcomings. Fury made the same mistake in every single fight. In the first fight, in the second fight, in the third fight. He made the same mistake every single fight. And he made the same mistake against Dillian Whyte. It's just if your footwork isn't coordinated enough, you can't take advantage of it.
And the majority, so Southgate, the majority of the people feel like, like Fury fights well on the back foot. Is when you break it down from a technical standpoint, let's just say he gets away with a lot of things that you won't teach a person coming into boxing.
Facts.
A lot of freestyling and stuff like that. But it's equivalent to someone that's like physically athletic. They get away with a lot of things as well. So it falls along the same lines. The boxing source, my guy, what's going on? Said Jeff. What up? He said, laughing my ass off. No, he's not. Stop it. He said, wow, is he serious? Hey, hold on. Boxing source, can you drop your top 10 heavyweights of all time in the chat? Can you drop them? Or give me
who is his comments toward?
That's for Shane. Or tell him why he's not.
Tell me 10 fighters with more elite wins than Fury.
So
that's what I want.
His criteria.
So based on your record, he has 2.
I said if he beats Usyk,
he would have.
That's 2. Still 2. He's at 2.
That's free.
Who's the third one?
You can't give me a hypothetical guy that make the top 10.
But this whole scenario was based on if I'm not saying he's a top 10 now. I'm saying if he beat Usyk. If we're just talking about now, then we're not having this conversation because he's not top 10 now. I said if he beats Usyk. That was my whole point. If we're gonna say that, then why are we having this conversation?
Actually, I want to get to the boxing source. Hold on a second. Adrian said Tim Bradley only lost to Pacquiao.
Yeah, facts. Credit to Tim Bradley. But there was so many people in his era he didn't fight.
What do you think, Bob?
I mean, you know how Top Rank is though, so you can't blame that on him.
I have to. I have to,
What?
bro.
Okay, bro. All right, bro. All right.
Boxing source Bradley's run at 140 is better than a lot of guys that are considered great. He had a hell of a run.
Question real quick. Is Bradley's run at 140 better than Crawford's?
Facts, definitely.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely.
It is.
So all time to me.
Yeah, it is.
Because we're using that to put Crawford up there. We not just using
no, that's a good point. That's a good point.
He said I would chew him up for Lennox at 2. I told you was gonna get smoked for that. I told you were gonna get smoked for that.
The truth is, Lennox at 2 may be a bit too high. That's probably high, but he's definitely in the top 5.
Okay, South
certainly in the top 5.
Lennox 2, you have to put Joe Louis in there, sure.
No, sorry. That was a mistake. That because Joe Louis came into my head later because I'm going through errors. So Joe Louis wasn't part of a error that I was going through. So I completely missed Joe Louis. But of course.
Okay. So he says Joe Louis, Larry Holmes, George Foreman, Riddick Bowe, Jack Johnson.
Are you drunk? Are you drunk? Did this dude say Riddick Bowe? Is this dude drunk?
I said Riddick Bowe. I said Riddick Bowe.
Riddick Bowe ahead of Lennox Lewis. Are you, bro? You guys
not ahead. I wouldn't say ahead, but I never said ahead. But on the list,
Boxing source said ahead. Boxing source said ahead.
Bro, you guys are ripping, bro. This is the same dude that threw the belt in the bin, bro. He threw the belt in the bin not to fight Lewis, bro. What are we talking? He threw the belt in the bin. Lennox Lewis beat him in the amateurs as well, bro. Lennox Lewis is way better than Riddick Bowe. He accomplished way more than Riddick Bowe. He beat way better fighters in every single way. He's better than Riddick Bowe. Every single way. And I will debate anyone back to back right now. I'm not even from the 90s, and I'll tell you that you cannot give me one justifiable reason for why Riddick Bowe is better than Lennox Lewis. You can't give me one.
I can't argue with that. But a lot of the other shit you've been saying, yeah.
Yo, boxing source, Vitaly Klitschko may be on par with Lewis.
And what are we talking? How can we, bro? This is crazy. Like, I don't understand how people can say this. I don't understand how people can say this.
He said Wilder should not be on the list.
Of course not. Wilder didn't beat an elite fighter, so he can't be on the list.
Andre Southgate.
None of them dudes that we mentioned went on the run that this dude went on. So
yeah, I would have gone on the same run in it.
Bro, you be killing me, bro. Like I told you, you like to jump out the car while it's doing 40, huh? You like to stone like this. You know what I'm saying? He like, come on, bro, let me finish, bro. Like,
go ahead.
The dude that everybody we mentioned technically never went on a run that he went on, and that's fighting elite fighters or not. So based on him, and he was a heavyweight champion. So those sort of things get you on lists like what we're talking about. So, and let me mention, you use him to put Fury on the list.
Because
so I'm saying, hold up. So that means that means he's an elite fighter. Am I correct? Yes. So shouldn't he make the list?
No.
He had already been elite for Fury to have even got the chance to beat him to say. That's all I'm saying. So he would have to be at some point on the list. At the bottom, maybe. At the bottom, maybe.
I agree, bro. He hasn't done more than Fury. The list was built on 10 fights.
Bro, let me finish. Fury can make the list. He may make it over Wilder. But I'm just saying Wilder should be on the list if you're going to use Fury and leapfrog Wilder because Fury beat Wilder. I mean, come on, bro. You don't be using logic.
The list was built on Fury, bro. The list was built on Fury. My list was can you name 10 fighters better than Fury? That's what I asked. I'm still waiting for this list, bro.
It's a game. Ernie Shave is better than Fury. Ernie Shave is better than Fury.
Based on what, bro? Based on what, bro? Based on what? Based
on being an all-time puncher, bro.
Hold on. Let me get. I want to get the boxing source 10, but let me get through the rest of these real quick. He said that's with Vitali losing to Lennox. We saw what happened.
Okay.
Lonzo said
And
Wilder isn't top 10 at all. Andre Southgate, Vitali can punch for sure. He would have troubled AJ for sure. Lonzo said Klitschko is top 10. Okay. Now this is the one I want to get to. Boxing Source says 1 Ali, 2 Lewis, 3 Jack Johnson, 4 Larry Holmes, 5 Foreman, 6 Holyfield, 7 Bo, 8 Lewis.
let me ask you a question. For one, you're missing 2 names, so you're supposed to name 10 more than Fury, but cool. But I'm glad you brought up Riddick Bowe. So can you please name me? Because my statement was based on elite fighters. That's all I said. So can you please name me the elite fighters that Riddick Bowe has defeated? That's all I want. I don't want nothing else.
Is it okay if I let him in?
One. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it okay if I let him in? All right, Boxing Source, I'm gonna put you in the chat. And I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy.
One, I just want, please. You said the Holyfield.
All right, can't hold up that we can continue this discussion because you're all over the place again. How many wins does it take to get on that list,
bro? What did you just? I said the list was built on Fury, so I said you have to name 10 fighters with more elite wins than Fury. That's all it was, bro.
I gave you one, Holyfield.
Okay,
I gave you another one in Galata because Galata
not an elite
Fury.
Fighter, bro.
Galata was a fucking hog. What you talking about, bro? He was a hog at his era. He was a dirty dude, but he was still a fucking hog, bro. What did you like?
He was not an elite fighter, bro. He was not an elite fighter, bro. Are we making the argument that Galata was an elite fighter? Is that what we're doing, bro?
So are we? But we're making the argument that Fury is an elite fighter. That's what you're doing.
I gotta roll the carpet out for my mans. Big shout out to the Boxing Source, man.
Respect.
Boxing Source, what's up with you, baby?
Yo, what's happening?
Hey, man, let's cook up, bro. Let's cook up.
All right, so of course you done put the list that I had up there in reference to those first 8.
Hold on, I got you. I got it right there, bro.
Right? Okay. Now, the first 3 really should be the top 3.
Okay, facts.
Because they were, at that time that they fought, they were the most dominant fighters that were in the heavyweight division. Okay. Larry Holmes, to a certain extent, was one of the most dominant fighters in his division once Ali left. And he was a little bit close to, of course, that little record that Rocky Marciano had. Okay. George Foreman was a second coming of Sonny Liston, but was bigger, taller, and was dominant pretty much dominant in 2 different eras in boxing, in the 70s and in the 90s, which are the 2 eras that are like the most known about eras in heavyweight boxing. Evander Holyfield, we ain't going to talk about what he did in cruiserweight. We're going to talk about what he did in heavyweight. Pretty much faced everybody. And beat pretty much like everybody, specifically in the 90s when he was able to face just about every single fighter in the 90s.
Credit to Holyfield.
Riddick Big Daddy Bowe became the undisputed heavyweight champion, knocking down Evander Holyfield, having 2 wins over Evander Holyfield, having, the win over Andrew Galata, pretty much 2 DQs, but he was pretty much going to be, outboxing him. Had a dominant win over Jorge Luis Gonzalez and Herbie Hyde, both undefeated. Larry Donald, also undefeated. Buster Mathis, that was pretty much like a no contest, but he had a string of undefeated fighters there, right? Now, let's go with Lennox Lewis. Now, here's the thing about Lennox Lewis, all right? Lennox Lewis was among the same era as Tyson, as Bowe, as Holyfield, as Michael Moorer, as Buster Douglas, as Morrison, and I could name multiple. But at that particular point, from 91 to 95, 96, 97, he faced none of those guys. And also, I'll include George Foreman too. He faced none of those guys. A couple of those guys that he fought in Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield were at the tail end of their careers. They were nowhere near their primes. Now, in reference to Riddick Bowe, first fight between Bowe and Holyfield, Bowe wins. What does he do right after that? He steps right up to Lennox Lewis and says, I want you to know something, bum. I ain't afraid of you, Lennox. And hey, when we can get it on because I owe you one. It's like, okay, cool. What I'm going to say is this. Lennox Lewis and his team did whatever it took for them not to make the fight because they thought they were worth more than they actually were. Now, on that note, there were multiple attempts that fight was trying to be made. There was one instance that it was supposed to be signed with the agreement that both fighters were supposed to win their next fights. Well, Lennox Lewis had a fight with a certain guy named Oliver McCall, and that whole thing pretty much crashed down. But the thing about it is like I said, I just don't put Lennox Lewis up there, even with the accolades that he's had, even though he was the last 3-belt undisputed champion at heavyweight. When you don't fight the best fighters of your era when they were pretty much at or around their primes, that has to count for something. When you don't face one of the more dominant fighters of your era within that time, that has to count for something.
Can I ask a question? And this is just, I guess we're not going to talk about the Fury situation because that was my original statement. And I feel like Jeff and Blunt and everyone else has decided to forfeit that. So we'll move from that because they've decided to forfeit.
We'll get back to it. We can get back to it.
So when we talk about the Lennox Lewis statement, and this is my thing. You brought up the people who he didn't fight in his prime. Okay. Can I ask you a question? When you look at, you said from 91 to 95, correct?
Yep.
And then you brought up those elite fighters in that time. Okay. He fought Evander Holyfield. Credit to Riddick Bowe for fighting Evander Holyfield. He didn't fight Mike Tyson either. So he didn't fight Mike Tyson either. So in my opinion, when you look at a lot of the dudes who we all talk about, Riddick Bowe's greatest wins. Well, I allowed you guys to speak about Riddick Bowe's greatest wins. Other than Evander Holyfield, I'm struggling to hear any names that you mentioned from 91 to 95 neither.
So you're not counting the Larry Donald, you're not counting the Herbie Hyde, you're not counting the Jorge Luis Gonzalez. Remember,
I'm not saying they're not elite fighters to me. They're not elite fighters.
Hey, if you don't think Michael Dokes is elite, you don't think those guys are elite, that's on you.
But bro, elite fighters to me is the top 3, top 4 of your era. None of those were. So they're not. That's the elite fighters to me. The cream of the crop. And when you look at the elite fighters of those times, whether that era, whatever order you want to put in it, even if we go by your list, 4 of those dudes fought in that era. Lennox Lewis fought in that era, Riddick Bowe fought in that era, and Larry Holmes fought in that era, and Riddick Bowe and Mike Tyson. So none of the dudes that you just mentioned that Riddick Bowe beat was elite of that era. That's the list that you just gave me. And I'm just telling you, he didn't beat none of those dudes.
Chang, if you're beating undefeated people from your era, then they had to been the elite of the era because they were guys that you fought. Can I finish, bro?
I stopped talking, bro.
Okay, well, then don't say nothing. Let people finish talking, bro. You didn't cut dude off. Check this out. If you're beating undefeated people from your era consistently the way Bo did, that tells me these were the elite guys and they were matching you up with them consistently. Obviously, they became undefeated, beating enough people to be considered the top guys to get the shot. So at some point, somebody ends up being elite.
So when you look at Bo
coming out at the winning end of all of these contests, to me, makes him elite for that era. And what he accomplished.
I never said that Riddick Bowe isn't elite. I didn't say that. I said he didn't beat an elite fighter other than Evander Holyfield. That's what I said. I didn't say Riddick Bowe isn't an
Because you
elite
know what it
fighter.
is. All right, I got a question for you. Is Ray Mercer an elite fighter?
No, he's not.
Wow, bro. You're very. That's what we call you, Stone Cold Shane, bro. You
have to be the top. You
are
have to
the
be
Shane.
the best in your. You have to be one of the best in your era. And when
Hold
you
on a
look,
moment.
bro, wait,
Ray Mercer was duck, bro. If you're a duck
you just
fighter, that
gave me
kind of
the
makes
list,
you elite.
bro.
What are you talking
How
about?
can you give me the list and then begrudge me for me using the same list that you just gave me? If you look at the best fighters of that era, you spoke the list that you just said, and few of those people are in the top 10 you just said. George Foreman fought in the 90s. Evander Holyfield fought in the 90s. Lennox Lewis fought in the 90s. Riddick Bowe fought in the 90s.
Riddick Bowe fought in the 90s. Elite.
Wait.
What you talking
Riddick
about?
Bowe is elite. Riddick Bowe is elite. Mike Tyson, he isn't on that list, but you mentioned Mike Tyson as an elite fighter. None of those dudes outside of Evander Holyfield, which I would consider as elite, those 5 fighters that you just mentioned, even if you want to say Larry Holmes, none of those dudes that you just mentioned did Riddick Bowe beat outside of Evander Holyfield. So that's my point, bro. So I didn't beat an elite fighter.
Okay, here's my question to you. You bring up Lennox Lewis, right?
Yes.
All right. This is what I'm going to run by for you real quick. All right. So get ready for this. All right. Tony Tucker, Phil Jackson. No, I'm not talking about the Chicago Bulls coach. I'm talking about another Phil Jackson. Oliver McCall, Lionel Butler, Justin Fortune, Tommy Morrison, McCall again, Henry Akinwande, Andrew Galata. After Bo fought him, okay? Shannon Briggs, Zelko Marvovich. That was from, what was that? Like around 93, 94 to 1998 before he fought Evander Holyfield twice. And that doesn't include Mike Tyson, which didn't even happen until 2002. So you bring up Lennox Lewis and you talk about, okay, elite fighters, but who are the elite fighters that he faced? And key is, when did he face those fighters? That's why when I brought up Lennox Lewis initially, I said, wait a minute. He fights the guys like Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson long after they were within their prime periods. That has to count for something.
I 100% agree with you, bro. I 100% agree with you.
So with the resume that Lennox Lewis has, is that I cannot really say, oh, he's there among the Riddick Bowes or the Evander.
He accomplished more than Bowe. He accomplished more than Bowe, and he fought. And in my opinion,
hold on. So here's the thing that let me see if I can run this again, right? So he has those fights against Holyfield, right?
Yep.
Holyfield pretty much had those titles, and he defeated Tyson before Tyson, faced Lennox Lewis. That's how Holyfield was able to get those belts.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, Holyfield always holds more weight over Lennox Lewis, even with those bouts.
I agree. I agree.
What he did during that time in the 90s. So I pretty much hold Riddick Bowe around that same weight because his level of competition in the 90s was more than what Lennox Lewis did.
But Lennox Lewis era stretched over to another one because he beat Klitschko. So that's another elite fighter to me. Klitschko was an elite fighter, so that's another person who he beat.
A source. Before I'm gonna let Vlog cook in a second. I just wanna add this in. Source, if I'm not mistaken, this might have been maybe his second time, third time being on here. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page with you. Where Shane is saying elite and he has his definition of elite, it seems like you're pointing out a lot of fighters that were very good in that era. Correct?
Right.
That boat. Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
There was for example, with the thing with Riddick Bowe, and I bring up the example of Jorge Luis Gonzalez, because at that time there were a number of people that were talking about maybe Gonzalez would be in trouble, would have give Riddick Bowe some trouble. People talk about the Olympics loss that Bowe had to Lewis, but Bowe also lost to Gonzalez in the amateurs.
That's true. That's true.
And what happened was Bowe pretty much diced him up. Okay. Now, I'm like, when you face a whole string of, undefeated fighters, that has to count for something. Like, I bring it up to current times. One of the guys that I placed in my pound for pound list is Stephen Fulton, because of the number of undefeated fighters that he has faced over the course of his professional career. So facing those guys and taking into account who are they fighting, because yes, that does have a factor, because you can have an undefeated guy that has built up the record from another country, and you look at the fighters that they faced, then that undefeated record doesn't hold as much weight as somebody that has had better competition over the course of the time that they became undefeated.
Facts. But with Fulton, Jeff will tell you, Fulton's one of my favorite fighters. One of my favorite fighters in boxing right now. With Fulton, the difference with Fulton is where I can pinpoint that when he fought Brandon Figueroa, if he wasn't the best fighter in the division at that time, he was definitely top 2, top 3. Definitely, there was no shadow of a doubt. He was definitely top 2 or top 3. When Riddick Bowe beat Evander Holyfield, Evander Holyfield was definitely top 2, top 3 at that time. Other than Evander Holyfield, there was no other fighter who was definitely top 3 that he beat, without a shadow of a doubt.
Hey Shane, let me say this before I let before Vlog get up in here. I think so. Your definition of an elite fighter, that's your definition. Cool. It seems like and correct me if I'm wrong, like it seemed like you're a little dismissive of the elite versus compared to the good or very good in that era. It seems like you don't. It seems like you're a little dismissive.
I'm not.
Does it come off like that? I'm just asking the people on the panel. Does it come off like that? Like he's a little dismissive?
But Jeff, you gotta go back. I was the one who made the question, bro. I made the question. So how could I didn't say?
Hold up, bro. Your question's been stepped on, bro. First of all, when Boxing Source got in here and told you about facing dudes when we know as boxing pundits that these guys ain't at their best, you use one of them dudes to put Fury on this so-called imaginary list, which started this whole conversation. So if we take Klitschko off the list, how many wins does he have?
But the reason why you can't take Klitschko off the list, Jeff, is because what did I just say?
This blunt, bro.
The reason why I said Jeff is because I literally when I was referring to Jeff, I said it previously, but blunt, I just said it was when Riddick Bowe fought Evander Holyfield, categorically, without a shadow of a doubt, Evander Holyfield was top 3. The reason why you can't remove Klitschko off the list is because categorically, without a shadow of a doubt, when Tyson Fury fought Klitschko, he was number 1 or number 2 in the division. Am I lying? Please tell me that I'm lying.
Can I rebut that? Did he not beat Holyfield twice? So is that not 2 victories?
And he lost to Holyfield as well.
But he beat Holyfield twice to win.
It's the same fight.
Am I correct, Shane?
Okay, you're correct. Fury beat Wilder 3 times.
So hold up. Getting back to the original question, your list started with 2 victories and a possible. Am I correct?
Okay.
So does that not in turn get Riddick Bowe on your list?
Not above Fury, but he can be on the list, not above Fury.
But you didn't have him on the list at all. That's what brought all of this Boxing Source in here.
No, it wasn't. My list was based on Fury. The floor is Fury. I said name 10 fighters with a better resume than Fury. Nobody. And
we did. We gave you a dude. We gave you a dude with 2 prime victories, whether it was against the same guy or not, because you're putting Fury on the list.
Fury's got 3 prime victories, bro. He's got 3.
He got 2 in a possible, bro. He got Wilder and he got Klitschko.
He beat Wilder 3 times. He beat Wilder 3 times. So you said Riddick Bowe beat
He beat Wilder.
Ivan,
He beat Wilder twice. He beat Wilder twice.
Okay, he
And
beat Wilder twice. So did what's it called, bro? So did
So
Riddick Bowe.
it's 2 to get on the 3. Now it's 3 to get on. Now it's 3 to get on.
Bro,
You see how you moving the goalpost?
I
Do
did
you
not
see
move
how you
the
moving the
goalpost,
goalpost?
bro. You're not on. I feel like comprehension, is I feel like people are failing to understand what I'm saying. If I
What you
say
talking
name
about? I
10
just asked you logical
fighters
questions. I
better
asked you how
than
many
Fury,
fights you get on the list for Fury.
bro,
You had 2 in the pocket.
name 10
Now
fighters better than
it
Fury.
goes back.
Bro, you're not
All right, bro.
answering the question.
Hey, Shane.
Name 10
Hey,
fighters
Shane.
better than Fury. That's all I want you to do.
Shane, this is so here's the thing. So to answer your question, if I have to answer your question based off of your criteria, it's going to be hard for me to give you 10 off of your criteria. My thing
Why
is
were you arguing me in the first place, bro?
let me finish.
To prove to you your criteria stinks.
Bro.
Say that then. I bet you it's better if you say that. I would have much more respect if you said that. Say that. Say that then.
So Shane, here's the thing. So I'm not, if that's your definition, that's cool. But I'm gonna say this though. Shane, you're one of the sharpest dudes I know. You're one of the sharpest dudes I know. I'm just saying your criteria is very basic. For someone that has, hold on, Shane, hold on. For some, because I'm giving you flowers within this. You have so many elements to your thought process, to your comments, to everything. So when I hear a criteria from Shane, I'm expecting to hear more than just that.
But this where you guys are flaking, and I realize you're flaking. The reason why I'm saying you're flaking is because it wasn't like I just made this criteria. I started off the argument by saying, and please watch the rewind and rewatch it. If Fury beats Usyk, and I keep saying if Fury beats Usyk because I don't think he does, but if Fury beats Usyk, Fury is an all-time great, and that is how I start. That is the first thing Jeff heard when he came on this podcast.
I said technically, and just to let you know, I wasn't flaking. I said technically you're correct. I also said that if I had to give 10 guys based off of your criteria, I probably couldn't get a 10. Off of your criteria. All I'm saying to you, Shane, is that I'm expecting a more vast criteria from you.
Bro,
that's all I'm saying.
The truth is, bro, if I was to justify how else Fury can be on this list, I can't, because I don't think Fury is that skilled. So I've told you this many times. I only said that based on accomplishments. That's all I said. Based on accomplishments. And I started my conversation by saying that.
But Shane, that's what I'm saying. Your criteria, you're backing yourself into a corner, bro. Let me tell you how. Let me tell you how, real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick. And y'all tell me whether I'm right or wrong. You just said Tyson Fury is on this level because he has elite wins. The next sentence you said you don't think he's that skilled.
Yes, but I didn't.
But this is why I say I would like for you to expand your actual criteria, because think about what you're saying. Hold on, Shane. Think about what you're saying. Think about what you're saying, Shane. Think about what you're saying. You're literally putting the person on a list for technically 3 wins, but you're saying he's not skilled.
But my list, but that was that. So Jeff, I'll put it this way, bro. I'll put it this way. If I make a list on power punches, I'm going to have Ernie Shavers on that list. I'm going to have Mike Tyson on that list. I'm going to have George Foreman on that list. That list is based on power punches. If I'm going to make a list of the most skilled fighters in the heavyweight division, it's going to have Lennox, Muhammad Ali on that list. You see my point? There's going to be fighters with skills on that list. Klitschko's going to be on that list, etc. I've made a list based on accomplishments. That is what this list is based on. Just accomplishments. I didn't once factor in anything else. So am I not allowed to make a hypothetical list simply based on accomplishments?
No, and I understand that.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, bro.
Can I ask a question? Just real quick. So is a heavyweight defense streak an accomplishment?
It's an accomplishment.
Is knocking out everybody on that streak an accomplishment?
100%. 100%.
So sounds like Deontay Wilder should make your list just based on those accomplishments.
No, I say it's an accomplishment. It's not a bigger accomplishment than other fighters, but it's still an accomplishment. Other fighters are unified champions. 19. They've won multiple belts, undisputed champions. So he won't be on that list. But he's still an accomplished fighter. He's still an elite fighter. He's still to me, an all-time great. But I just don't feel like he's somebody who will be in the top 15, but he'll still be in the list.
Hey,
He'll
Shane,
still be up there.
Can we meet in the middle on this one? Can we all agree that Lennox is not number 2?
No, of course he's not number 2. I don't know.
Okay,
I said he's not number 2.
Hold on. But that is part of the reason why Boxing Source came on here. Source, am I correct?
Yeah. And I'll put my hands up and say he's not number 2. And the truth is, I don't disagree with anything that Boxing Sources said. I agree with everything he says. And even when he's talking about Riddick Bowe, those wins that he has is legitimate good wins. The whole entire reason why we had this conversation was purely and simply of elite wins. And I just said elite fighters, the best of the best in that division. So, I don't know why we're bringing things up that I didn't say.
What I'm asking, but what I was trying to clarify was how many wins. When you say elite fighters, 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins, then you went back to defend. Hold up.
You have to have more than Fury.
Okay, so then you went back and added wins to Fury by saying, oh, well, he beat Deontay Wilder twice. When we used that same original base of 2 wins to get Riddick Bowe on the list. So the argument, the discussion, I ain't gonna say argument, the discussion got expanded just based on your original list not really being clarified, or again, like I said, kind of being a little trash.
You have to have more than Fury. That's the list. That's what you have to have. You have to have more than Fury, because that's why.
So again, you adjusted it late in the discussion by saying now it's not 2 in the possible. You did
by saying that,
but I said you adjusted it. I said adjusted it. I never said you didn't say it. I said you adjusted it by saying Fury gets now 3 wins because he beat Wilder twice. But when we used it originally, Shane, again, I'm just going off your words, bro. You said 2 wins in the possible got Fury as in the discussion. Period.
So,
okay. Now later on, you said, "Well, it's 3 wins now because you're adjusting."
But why did I say that? Why did I say that?
I'm about to tell you, so you can continue to be correct based on your original base being garbage.
No, because you first brought up Riddick Bowe by saying Riddick Bowe beat Evander Holyfield twice. So I said, using that logic, Wilder lost to Fury twice. I used the exact same logic you used, bro. You can't try to beat.
No, I used the logic, but I only used the logic to say you said 2 wins originally.
I didn't I said more than Fury. That's what I said. All I said was more than Fury, bro. I didn't say a number. I said more than Fury.
Am I correct or not? Am I not correct?
Jeff.
Yes.
Now I had the question on here for Shane. Now, I'm not sure if these guys are within your top 10 or not, but we talked about, or one way or another, the Klitschko brothers, right?
Yep.
So my question is, for either Vitaly or Vladimir, how many wins do they have against elite fighters?
To me, between them, and I would say in terms of elite fighters in their era, it has to be retrospective, because you have to look at it at that specific era in itself. So they were in relatively very weak eras. So I'd probably say between them, 1 or 2 at best, 1 or 2.
Yeah, that pretty much sounds right. Yep, that pretty much sounds
That's why
right.
they ain't in my top 10. That's why they ain't in my top 10. They were still elite fighters, but they ain't in my top 10. They 1 or 2, I would say for sure. Vladimir Klitschko's win over Alexander Povetkin. At that time, it was the 2 best heavyweights. So you can say that was 2 best heavyweights going head to head.
Top 2 were number 1 and number 3.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? So wasn't the Spanish boy that Riddick Bowe beat one of the best heavyweights at that time?
No, he wasn't.
Who was better than him at that time, then, Shane?
You talking about Gonzalez?
Yeah. Who was better than him at that time?
Riddick Bowe was better than him at that time. Lennox Lewis was better than him at that
Bowe
time.
beat him. That's how we know.
You
I'm
said
using
name
him
3
to give
fighters
Riddick
that
Bowe.
were better.
Hold up. Bro, you just said you can give the Klitschko's 1 or 2 wins. That I'm saying, okay, against the best dude, which was Povetkin at the time. Okay, well, the best dude at the time for Riddick Bowe was Larry Donald, undefeated guy. Best fighter for Riddick Bowe at the time was Gonzalez, undefeated fighter. So how can you give Klitschko victories for beating the best guy at the time and then say that's an elite victory, but not the same for Riddick Bowe?
But there is a difference.
We keep killing your argument.
There is a difference because you can't name me a heavyweight. You can't name me a heavyweight at that specific time outside of the Klitschko brothers that were better than Povetkin. I can name you a heavyweight that was better than Donald and the Spanish dude, bro. Evander Holyfield was better than him. Lennox Lewis was better than him. Done. The argument over, bro.
Riddick Bowe beat 1 or 2 of them dudes. And he beat them dudes that you're not giving any credit to. So that's more than Klitschko.
You're literally not understanding my logic, bro. You literally don't understand my logic.
That's why we keep trying to tell.
Bro, you don't understand what an elite fighter is. An elite fighter is a top 3 fighter in the division. They want the top 3 in the division.
Hold on, Shane. Hold on a second. Hey, Source, what's your definition of an elite fighter?
An elite fighter is somebody that, goes through a run of, wins against fighters that are pretty much at, around, or above their level. But here, when it comes to the heavyweight division, particularly, after the 90s or so, you really don't have that type of, instance where you could say, oh, this guy's an elite fighter or that, because you had, like I said, the Klitschko's kind of like ran everything pretty much. Outside of, the thing with Povetkin, like, who can you, like, pretty much say, like a Samuel Peter maybe? Like, they faced guys like Calvin Brock too that, were contenders up
David Hay maybe.
So
Calvin Brock, good name.
The thing about it is like when you're dealing with, like, especially in boxing, you're dealing with a vast, number of fighters, a vast number of guys that could have very good or undefeated records, and that could be it, Question. Because the thing with like for example with Riddick Bowe, right? Riddick Bowe, was pretty much like at least a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, because even after his loss to Evander Holyfield, he was able to win another world title, and defended that world title a couple of times. So I'm like, hey, he's got to either be he had to be like a world champion. He beat a world champion for those both times. So, Evander Holyfield was the defending champion. Herbie Hyatt was the defending champion. So,
a Source, I'm gonna make this comment. Then I'm gonna run through these last 3, and then you said you wanted to make a comment about the Spence Crawford, right?
Yeah.
I think Blunt wanted to say something as well.
Okay, so so I'm gonna make my comment real quick. I'm gonna run through these last 3 comments. Vlog, I'm gonna let you shoot, and then I'm gonna let Source get into this Crawford Spence. Source, am I wrong by saying that the names that you're mentioning in regards to Bowe are definitely top 10 guys during that time?
Yeah, they pretty much were around the top 10.
Ran the top 10. Okay. All right, ran the top 10. And for Shane, that top 10 doesn't fall into your criteria, which I understand. I wish it did, but I understand. It doesn't fall into your criteria. Your criteria is top 3, nobody else. That's it.
For the argument of elite fighters, yes.
Right.
If
yes.
we're arguing elite fighters,
right. Yes. All I'm gonna say is I wish maybe we can have a different conversation.
Jeff, you're also failing to understand where I'm coming from. So go ahead.
No, I understand. No, I understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit with that.
It was only for the sake of this particular conversation, bro.
No, I'm with you,
bro. Only for the sake of this particular conversation. It's not a general argument.
I'm with you. So I'll ask this question and we can leave it here. When you look at Fury, do you see top 10 of all time?
Of all time?
Yes. When you look at
no, of course not. Of course not.
All right.
It was
okay. All right.
This
cool.
particular conversation.
No, understood. But you see how you gave me a different answer, bro. You see how it's so many different elements.
But you are nothing, bro.
I'm trying to give you your flowers. You're not seeing where I'm coming from, bro.
I hear what you're saying, bro, but you're forgetting what my original statement was.
No, bro. I hear what your original statement was. All I'm telling you is your statement put yourself in a small box. You're much bigger than that.
It was supposed to, though. It was supposed to.
Okay,
because
right,
we were just looking at a particular aspect of boxing. We wasn't talking about all the intricacies. It was just one particular aspect, bro. You must have missed that.
No. I didn't miss that. That's what I'm saying. I didn't miss it at all. So basically, we can have another conversation about heavyweights with a different criteria. We pretty much gonna have a different convo.
100%.
All right, fair enough. I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Perfect. Let's run through these last couple. Lonzo Turner, my top 10, Ali, Prime Mike, Holyfield, Foreman, Lewis, Klitschko, Bo, Fury, Wilder, and he put Jones Jr. Hey, Lonzo, man. All right, man. I ain't got nothing to say on that. He said Mike Tyson wasn't ever the same after jail. He was downhill before he went in jail. He peaked fast. And Riddick Bowe beat Klitschko? Which one?
No, he said he's asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Which one?
Vladimir.
Vladimir,
definitely.
He beats Vlad. Okay.
Yeah, he beats Vlad. Vitaly, I don't know.
I don't know if he beats Vitaly, though.
I don't know if he
That'd be a good fight, though. That'd be a good scrap.
Yo, that would have been a good one.
That'd have been a real good scrap. Actually, a Swords, you should put that up, yo.
Yeah.
Poll people on that. That's a
go on, Blunt. Bro. You were gonna say
hold on. Hey, Blunt, who you think won that fight, bro? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Blunt.
I was gonna say my top 10 would be like the most controversial of all. Like outside of your boy putting Roy Jones on there, y'all wouldn't, because like I got dudes like Ernie Shavers on my shit. I got dudes like Ray Mercer on my shit. Like if you're a monster, you're a monster. I think that trumps a lot of that technical who the pundits think is elite. I think the work you did, whether you was ducked or not in your career, Ray Mercer was ducked. I mean, Ernie Shavers, I don't think he never really got his shot from none of the big dogs at the time. He was just mulling everybody over. So that goes back to what makes you elite. Ain't you elite if you mowing down everybody that they put in front of you? To me, that's what Riddick Bowe did. So I think he's on that list, bro. But you know, that's Shane's list and nobody can get on it but the people Shane put on it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, let's Source, let's get into this Spence Bud thing, the report, bro.
All right, so I mean, after all this time, after all these rumors, after everything, and whatnot, now me and Jeff been, we're in conversations about this, for a while, and that, we've kind of like seen it coming,
right?
And that people have talked about, like this is it, this is gonna happen. There's nothing else for either one of these fighters at 147 pounds, but when a certain reporter that has been off and wrong on a couple of things here and there over the course of the past year and a half, kind of like puts it up there, everybody wants to co-sign it. So I pretty much made a response because we've had multiple people report on this particular fight and that it would be signed and that they've released it at least weeks beforehand. But when it's Mike Compinger, yes, it's Mike Compinger, I have to, sorry, but I have to quote the words of Mr. Dr. Umar Ifantunde Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need white man paperwork?
Hey, yo.
The thing is, bro, for me, and I'm glad you brought that up because I heard about this weeks ago as well. And me and Blunt both started the live by saying, we're going to obviously post it because that's what people are talking about and that's what people want to talk about. But we started the live by saying, I don't believe it until I see them dudes in the ring. And in the case of Effie Jegba, we've seen dudes in the ring and still walk out and the fight not happen. So I don't believe it until I see the bell ring and they're actually punching each other. So for me, Mike Coppinger could have said it. Anybody could have said it. To be honest, it doesn't bother me. I want to see it when the two dudes are in the ring. That's when I believe it. Now, for me, bro, I'm so like that. This build-up has been so anticlimactic. Like, I'm almost not even excited about this fight no more. And I know when you get closer to the fight, I will be, but I don't know what it is, bro. I've been so drained of the speculation that at this point I don't even care.
Yeah, well, for us, we have. I guess the main thing the source is.
But
really,
1 second, Jeff, is Boxing Source in the group chat?
Yes, he is. So that's why I'm saying.
I saw it was he was the one who posted. This I saw he posted earlier today. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're in certain circles, like you just have other sources outside of the Coppingers of the world and all that. And we, fortunately for us, we know a lot of people, and the problem that you run into is there's been times Shane has told me things that was going to happen and it wasn't on the radar, and I just know that he know people, you know what I'm saying? And it ended up when they announced it, I was like, all right, I've been knew that, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like when you try to put some news out there based off of credible sources, like, and I mean source, you know how we get down, like we know, like, right, in the trenches, like in the trenches, like it's way deeper than like Mike Coppinger. That's just the general person that everyone knows. He kind of reminds me of the president. Like, you know, the president's just the figurehead, but he's far from running the country. You know what I
mean? Mike Coppinger's funny because to me, I can't remember one time this dude actually done any form of boxing analysis in my life.
Listen, some people feel like the favorite moment that they saw with Mike Coppinger was when Bob Barum looked at him and said, "Shut the fuck up, you little prick."
Yeah, that was. You remember that, Shane?
Yeah, of course. That was at the Fury fight.
That was that was the Fury. That was like press conference, right? That was the initial press conference. Yeah, the thing about it is just, and this is kind of just a battle that we all have right now. It's like because and let me say this: there's a lot of dudes out here that's trash, that push a lot of propaganda, and there's more propaganda than real dudes in this business.
Facts.
There's more propaganda than real dudes in this business. So, source, I will say this: so for every Shane that we have, every vlog that we have, every source, every Shido, pound for pound, Millie, like for everyone, there's about 20 frauds for each one of us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so many people are used to seeing, so they see the frauds more than the real. So when the real, like, when they see the real, they don't even know what they're looking at. But they ain't seen propaganda so much.
In a case like this, because in a case like of Errol Spence and Crawford, for me, I don't know. When I heard everybody going up in the air about it, and it's crazy because my dad, phoned me and was like, "Oh, the Crawford and Spence fight signed," and I'm like, "Bro, it's funny how he messaged me about that," but I'm like, I haven't heard anything different. What Mike Coppinger's announced or what people are running with, I've actually heard this like weeks ago. So for me, I'm not even excited because I'm like, I haven't heard anything different. The only thing I want to see that will get me a little bit excited, bro, is the poster. That will get me a little bit excited. I can't even cap because when a poster goes up, I know this sounds so stupid, but when a poster goes up, I kind of feel like, all right, cool. Like
So
false advertisement kind of thing. Like you can no longer sell something that's in front of my eyes.
right. So the poster that you're going to see is the face-off between Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford for November 19th at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas.
Can I ask you a question? So whilst we have you here, because me, Blunt, and Jeff's been up in the air. How many pay-per-view sales do you think it does?
Oh,
Can I help you out real quick, bro?
Well, there's one thing that is a key factor to that for me is who carries it. Because there would be two networks, and that was the thing that we were talking about in reference to this fight for months, is that which network would carry it? Would it be a Showtime pay-per-view or would it be a Fox pay-per-view? That is a factor into how many pay-per-view buys that it would get. Because for me, Fox has a good number of better distribution or advertising window than what Showtime has.
Can I give you a little quick tip, boxing source, real quick? I don't want to cut you off, but Fox is actually owned by Walt Disney. Walt Disney actually owns ESPN. Top Rank does business with ESPN. Based on the lawsuit situation that's still in play, hasn't been canceled or dropped or anything, I think that takes Fox out the deal.
I heard it's Showtime.
Based on association. Based on in my estimation, that's just based on my logic. I ain't talking no lawyers or nothing, but we all know common law. So I was just putting that out there. I think it's going to be strictly Showtime.
I heard it was Showtime.
Now, even before this announcement, I thought that it was pretty much going to be Showtime, regardless, because of the last Spence fight with Ugas was on Showtime pay-per-view, and two, Fox already had a couple of things that they've reserved already in September and October. So
and boxing, sorry to cut you off, bro, but the first person I ever heard say the date November 19th was Steven Espinoza. That's the first person I ever heard the date November 19th. So because of that, I just automatically thought Showtime.
Yeah.
Let me say this real quick because we're gonna jump off here in a little bit. The November 19th. Now we're talking general talk, and then we talking group chat talk. So group chat talk, that 19th was heard before Espinoza. Big shout out to L Dub the plug. I know this for a fact. The man booked this room 2 months ago for that exact date.
2 months.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
L Dub. I call him L Dub the plug. I also call him the Block Mike Cop because usually he usually spot on.
Yeah,
he usually spot on. Now, in terms of what Shane said, Espinoza is probably the first person to say it that has a mainstream name.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I
mean. And source, and I want to give you a stamp on this one. Publicly, right. And source, I want to give you a stamp on this one as far as the Fox Showtime thing. If Fox covers it, the biggest difference between Fox and Showtime is if it's on Fox, then I don't know how the advertising goes, but if that gets them a slot as far as advertisement in the football games, that is essentially the difference between Showtime. So Shane, it's equivalent to if the network was covering it and they were able to put it on the football games.
Yeah.
Versus someone that couldn't put it on the football games. That's the equivalent.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Fury Wilder, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
The second fight, they tried to they had them pretty much tried to market it through college football initially, so that it gets those, people's eyes on them, and they're like on ESPN or whatever it is. They also had a commercial on the Super Bowl at one point. So with having it on Fox, you pretty much had the NFL,
Right.
at the very least. So and you get it, and you're putting it on November 19th. That's going to be around the prime spot. And like I said, the weekend before is Dallas versus Green Bay on Fox. So that's going to be a prime spot for them to push that particular fight. If it was on Fox. So
now what can happen, Fox in play, as far as them being able to make money off it, they can be paid for advertisement though. That doesn't do anything legally, because he's not, as far as being stopped from making money off the fight, because he's not contracted with PBC. It's supposedly a one fight deal from what I've heard. You know what I mean? So far, it hasn't been anything excludes outside of this. But it could be a rematch clause in this thing, though. You know what I mean? To make it a quote unquote 2-fight deal beneficial to PBC if they gotta lose it. You know what I'm saying? So Fox is not out of play though. That's facts.
Word, yeah. Now, Jeff, the thing in reference to like November, people were talking about that for ever since soon after Spence's win over Ugas, because initially what people thought was going to happen was that Crawford was going to sign and have a fight in the interim first before fighting Errol Spence in November.
Correct.
Because some of us thought it would have been him against Keith Thurman by the summer, but it didn't end up being that way. But that November spot was always there, always available. It's like it's going to be a year, pretty much a calendar year since Crawford's last fight.
How many pay-per-view sales do you think it does?
At minimum, let's go for 350K.
Ooh, that's low.
That's really
low. That's the thing about it. That's low. I gotta see. Yeah, it got to be at least 500,000 when it comes to the purses for both fighters. Yeah, at minimum. But we also got to take into account, depending on where it is. That's like what do you call it? Those that are on like what they say is a cable box. That doesn't count like what theaters order it, what bars order it, how many order it on the app. Those don't even be taken into account. Like digital orders, those aren't taken into account when they report those numbers. So
maximum, how much do you think it does?
Maximum? Shoot. Man, I wanted to go at above 650K. You know what's crazy to me is that last year, what was it? Last year, whatever. Yeah, it was last year, right? Canelo Plant had over 800,000 pay-per-view buys.
Right.
It's Canelo Plant. But this is supposed to be the biggest fight in boxing. This is supposed to be the fight that everyone, boxing fans, have been waiting for. So my thing is,
can I mention something? You brought it up earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, them boys had, they had the complexion. You know what I mean? For
I was just about to say that.
So I'm just saying.
I was just about to say that.
No cap. I ain't trying to start nothing.
Bro, boxing source, you're preaching to the choir, bro, because me and Jeff's been saying, bro, we've been saying, when it comes to this fight, the maths just ain't mathing. Well, Jeff's saying that, I don't want to steal his lines, but Jeff's been saying the maths ain't mathing, because the truth is, we can all, and I said this before, historically, when was the last time you saw two black fighters headline and do over 1 million pay-per-views?
Right.
Dane versus Floyd?
Exactly. Look how long ago, and that's Floyd. Look how long ago that was.
And even if you want to go along them lines, him and Berto only did 550.
Yeah.
Can I say something? But this supposed to be two Floyd-esque dudes of this era. So
not
I
in
think
terms
that
of notoriety.
Yeah.
In terms of notoriety for what they do in the ring, maybe not notoriety as far as like Instagram
outside the
numbers and
sport
Twitter
of
numbers.
boxing, yeah. But but we're talking about two fighters that, at least particularly within the division, is probably like it should be the biggest fight in the division in over 30 years plus.
Facts.
We're talking about like the Leonard, the Leonard Hearns.
Yeah, we gotta go back there to get the 500.
The saddest thing, bro. The saddest thing is this fight ain't even gonna be the biggest fight of the year. As much as it's the best fight for boxing, but in terms of actual economical mass, like the mass of it, it's not even gonna be the biggest fight of the year.
And that sucks.
But I don't think that hurts. I don't think it hurts it historically.
No, of course
No, not at all. Not at all.
What I think
that's what counts, really. That's what counts in the long run.
I think that they're gonna do a good enough job to push this particular fight, man.
I think what it does is,
this should speak for itself.
I'm saying this probably from a real privileged perspective, but I feel what it does is a lot of fans who say they're like, for me, this fight should be doing 1.5 million, but it isn't. It should be doing 1.5 million, but it isn't. For me, a lot of fans have to just do some self-reflection. That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, the reason why I'm saying is because we're in an era where, let's keep it real, a lot of Americans, and American boxing is my favorite boxing. My favorite fighters are from America. But a lot of American fans have this perspective that the home of boxing is America. And it is. The home of boxing will always be in America. But I feel like within America itself, you guys need to start supporting your own fights financially.
Yeah,
I'm buying the fight if I don't make it to Vegas.
Yo, as far as like anticipated fights, I knew it was gonna be around 40 years. It's pretty much almost been. I was pretty much around 6 months old. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns, September 1981.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Floyd and Manny. That fight done crazy numbers in the world.
Yeah, that fight done crazy numbers. And yeah, people kind of like anticipated that fight, but everyone knew that both of those guys weren't at their primes at that time.
No, of course not. Of course not.
But for me, when you have two guys that are, universally regarded as top 5 or 6 pound for pound fighters in the sport right now, and without question the 2 best welterweights in the world, then
don't say that to Blunt. Don't say that to Blunt. Don't say that to Blunt. Blunt don't believe that.
Like, it's going to be an event, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely crazy. Let me run through these last 2, and we'll get everybody's official pay-per-view numbers, then we can get up out of here. Tony's Reviews, big shout out to you, bro. He said, don't get too excited. The article stated that nothing has been signed. I hope you just listened to the last 10 minutes. It's going down. Tony's Reviews, 500K max. Neither is a huge pay-per-view mover. So
I think 550 is a safe number.
So here's the thing. So the fact that and I said this to Shane a while ago. I said these are 2 of the top 5 guys, or vlogs on the line. So I gotta say top 10 guys. And they're in their prime, unification, all of the marbles. We rarely see this. And I'm like, the fact that they're tussling, they've been penny pinching for months. Like, it's not because like somebody's being greedy. It's just the fact that they feel like it should be a certain amount in the pot, and it's not there. Like, it's not there. Like, as much as people want to say that Spence is a pay-per-view mover, you got to remember, I say all his moving is in his home state. There's a lot of guys that's going to sell in their own home state. Bud sells well in his own home state. The true definition of a pay-per-view guy is, can they go to Vegas and make it happen? Can they go to Cali and make it happen? Like, can they make it happen? You know what I'm saying?
Look at Wilder Fury.
Can I say this? Can I say this
them.
in defense of that statement, Jeff?
Mhm.
Doesn't the fact that it's in Vegas support the help, help to push the numbers? People hear about where it's at. You know what I mean? MGM, classic, historic, like, you know what I'm saying? Platform. I think that helps.
It helps, but I'll give you an example where that kind of that doesn't work all the time. I'll say that. Before Tyson Fury, right? Before he got the Wilder fights, he had 2 or 3 fights in Vegas, and they were giving the tickets away. Source, am I lying?
They were giving them away.
They was giving them away. They couldn't get nobody to buy them tickets. So yes, it does help, but it depends on who and the circumstances. It depends on who and the circumstances.
Yeah. All right. Let me see. Going off of a couple numbers, and I see where you kind of like say it could be a stretch to get those numbers up to around the 500K range or whatever it is, right?
No, I think it'll get there. I
hope so. I think it'll get there. We're talking about like Spence versus Garcia and Spence versus Ugas pretty much had around the same amount of buys, base buys and 250K. Crawford Porter around 135K, but remember, Errol Spence Jr. versus Sean Porter had 350K.
What was the Mikey fight?
The which one?
Mikey.
That's like 4. Wasn't that 4 something?
Or
did it hit 5?
A little bit, 375.
It's 375. Okay.
Around 375.
Okay.
So I think the thing with Spence versus Porter, at least for me, was that people were looking forward to seeing that type of a fight because it was a unification fight. It was 2 top 5 guys at the time, and that they knew that it was going to be a very good fight, and it delivered. So that's what I'm seeing here. 2 guys undefeated, got all the belts on the line. 2 guys within the top pound for pound. Like, it has to get at least 500,000 pay-per-view buys, even with whatever happens with, the streaming or whatever it is. 500,000 pay-per-view buys. It has to.
I think 500 to 650. That's the range that I'm working with. I think maximum 500. The floor's the maximum 650. The floor's 500.
What you think, Vlog?
I always say you set your final number based on where you gonna put your money at. I'm putting my money at 625.
That's the max.
Yeah, I think it's going to eclipse 625. I'm putting, if Vegas had a line, I'll put my line at 625.
Over 625. I'm with it.
Yo, Vlog put everything in betting terms, yo. He go to the corner store, he be like, how many Nestle Crunches you gonna buy? He be like, I set the bar at like 2.5. How many cheesesteaks you gonna buy?
Real talk. About a couple hours ago, I bought about 2 Snickers.
You know what I'm saying, Playboy, for real.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it does. I'm gonna say it does 6. I'm gonna say it does 6 to be safe. I think it definitely deserves $1 million for sure. It deserves $1 million. And Source, you know the thing that's crazy before we close this thing out, bro. These guys have like tens of millions of fans, yo. And we really scraping the pot with 600,000 or even 5.
Yeah.
They need to get an international.
You know what's crazy though? My thing with the element about separating having the amount of pay-per-view buys that we're kind of like predicting it at to around that range of, over 900K to like reaching a million is what is their presence outside of the sport of boxing? Like when you talk about guys like a Floyd Mayweather, when you talk about a Oscar De La Hoya, where you even talking about a Canelo Alvarez, or even with a Brian Garcia, something like that, they reach people that are not really in tune or in tap with the sport of boxing. So they just want to see him just to see him. So when it comes to Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, who outside of the sport of boxing is like, hey, I'm interested in this guy. I want to see him. Because right now, what they're doing is they're trying to do that with Gervonta Tank Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why if they end up making that fight with him and Ryan Garcia, people will be surprised to see how many people be interested in that fight.
That would get 800,000.
Can I say this? In the era of news clips and all of this online media and all of this, I think Earl supports that bringing casuals. That's the dude in the car accident. He fighting another undefeated guy. Oh, undisputed. That's the type of talk gets casuals to get the weekend off and buy that fight. So I think. It's a lot of different ways we can analyze it and say it could get some decent numbers.
Word.
Yeah, it deserves a high amount of numbers, man, and it's a shame that it's crazy because I'm like you take and it kind of goes with Shane was saying earlier, man. Like you take Tank and Ryan, that probably does more numbers than Spence and Crawford. You know what I mean? Like Fury and Dillian White, they had 40-something million on the purse bid. 40-something million purse bid, bro. Like, and we scraping the pot. Like, we scraping the pot, bro. We're excited, but at the same time, as boxing pundits, this just shows that it's a problem with the math sometimes. You know what I mean? It's a big ass problem with the math, man. But we gonna close this thing out, man. This was an old school John. We damn near 3 hours in this joint. Source, man, we appreciate you jumping on, man. Family in the building, man. Giving you social media, giving you YouTube, all that good stuff, there, brother.
Oh, just straight up the Boxing Source on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. On the YouTube channel, there is a thing where I posted a current pound for pound list, and it might turn a few heads on who's on the list and where they're at on the list, but
okay,
check it out.
Hey man, sure will, man. We appreciate you jumping on, man, for sure. Boxing First Vlog, man. Give it up, bro.
Yo, I'm on the gram strictly right now, and YouTube is the home, obviously the original. But check me out. Use the number 1 and replace the word first on the gram. I'm going brazy, bringing you the numbers. You know what I mean? Trying to help everybody get $1, tip or $2. You know what I mean? Help you get a lean. Just check me out, man. I'm on obviously with the fellas on Goodfellas podcast, and we working for the love of the sport. You dig?
Absolutely, man. And big shout out to Shane, man. He out there in the UK, so it's about 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, about 1:18. No, it's more than that. It's about like 2, 3 in the morning out there. Big shout out to Shane, man.
Oh,
in the UK. Yeah.
If that fight in the UK happens December 5th, I'm going to get my butt out there to get to that fight.
Yeah, that's one to travel for sure. One to travel for sure. Follow Shane at I_am Shane, the number 1, exclusively on Instagram. And y'all can find me all over the place, man. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, G5JeffTV, website G5JeffTV.com. Please join the Boxing Prediction Fantasy League. Absolutely free to join. $500 for the winner. Second place get $200. Third place get $100. We got head-to-head on their side pot. We got it all. We got what you need. You know what I'm saying, on the website. So definitely go check us out, man. And this was a classic joint, man. So on behalf of the Boxing Source, Boxing First Vlog, VP Shane, and your boy G5 Jeff TV, we will be back with y'all tomorrow. Appreciate y'all. Peace.